Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei was betrayed and was the last person of Saiyan race part 6. Before we start, please go support Agarthan Reaper AC7 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 24. Preparing history. Mira and Towa's plan. Once organized into 3 groups, each one left for the time in which they had to act in order to re-establish the course of history. Year 779, on the outskirts of the western capital. The kind of portal opened in the mountains, from which Issei and Chisato came out. They looked towards the edge of the mountain. Issei, well, it seems we're here. And there are Frieza and Cooler. According to my grandfather's stories, the only one who attacked the earth was Frieza. Chisato, Issei-kun, look over there, pointing down. Frieza could be seen torturing Goku, while Vegeta approached Frieza so they could start the battle. Noticing this, Cooler also approaches. Issei, it seems we arrived just in time. Chisato, have you thought of something yet? Issei, since we didn't bring seeds from the hermit, the only option is for you to help cure my grandfather. I will be in charge of fighting alongside Mr. Vegeta. I won't have any problems if I use the SSJ arrows too. Chisato, I understand. But wouldn't it be more advisable if you used the SSJ blue? That is to say, at this moment they do not know the SSJ arrows. It may sound silly, but that small detail could affect the story. It would be better that we act according to the facts of this time. Issei, well, you're right. There is no time to lose. Chisato approaches and kisses him. This leaves the brunette somewhat surprised. Issei, wow. I didn't expect that. Chisato, that's my way of saying good luck. Meanwhile, at the site of the battle, Vegeta was seen descending slowly after having heard Frieza's offer. Frieza, well, Vegeta, if you eliminate Goku, I will appoint you commander of Frieza's forces. What are you saying? Vegeta, I need this insect so I can continue increasing my strength. So I'm sorry. But I already made a decision, and that is to eliminate you with my own hands. Frieza, what did you say? Annoying. Vegeta kicks Goku, which made him fly towards where Krillin and the others were. Vegeta, Krillin, give Kakarot a hermit seed, he needs it. Frieza, wow. After making you that generous offer, this is how you pay me. Vegeta, it was you who destroyed my home planet. Did you think I was going to be loyal to you after that? You're wrong. Frieza, you still make bad jokes. Vegeta, you don't have enough power to defeat me, you don't have a chance against me. Vegeta, hi transforming into blue. Frieza was surprised and somewhat scared to see Vegeta transform. Vegeta, how curious. You never suspected that I could also transform into that legendary Super Saiyan. Frieza began to throw energy arrays at him, creating a screen of smoke. When the smoke dissipated, Vegeta was still in the same place, completely unharmed. Vegeta, it's time to make you pay for everything you did to the Saiyans. I extend my hand to him, he attacks. Big Bang. A powerful ball of energy came out of Vegeta's hand. Vegeta's Big Bang attack was about to hit Frieza, but another ball of energy collided with the attack of the Prince of the Saiyans. Vegeta. But what? Cooler had saved his brother from Frieza. Vegeta looked somewhat annoyed as Frieza had interfered. Frieza, I thought I told you not to meddle. Annoying. Cooler, I'm tired of just watching. Just this once, we must work together to eliminate these annoying apes. Vegeta, no matter how many there are, they will still be insects. Hey, increasing his Kai. Cooler, I wouldn't recommend trusting yourself so much. Turning into his golden form, both cold demons launched themselves against the Prince of the Saiyans. Meanwhile, on the hill behind the place of the fight, Krillin was looking for a hermit seed, but there was none. Goku was dying, but at that moment, Issei arrived with Chisato, thanks to his teleportation. Gohan, who are you? Missed. Issei, consider us allies. Turning to Chisato, well, Hasegawa-sensei, it's time to do your part. Chisato approaches Goku, places her hands on his, a green flash comes out of his hands. Chisato, due to the composition of his body, it will take me a little longer to make him fully recover. Gohan, damn. If only he had trained more. Angry, it doesn't matter, no matter how powerful Mr. Vegeta is, he won't be able to defeat the two of them. Transforming into SSJ, I will help him fight. Gohan was preparing to fight alongside Vegeta, but at that moment, Issei stopped him. Issei, wait, I'm going to fight. Gohan, are you sure? Issei, hey, transforming into SSJ blue completely. Serious. The roar of the chestnut's transformation surprised everyone, it even made the fight stop. Issei teleported next to Vegeta. When he saw it, he was a little surprised, but then he only responded with a confident smile. Vegeta, I didn't know there were still Saiyans alive. Issei, who are you going to take care of? Vegeta, you take care of the other one, I'll be the one to destroy Frieza. Getting into a fighting pose. Issei, okay. getting into a fighting pose. They both launched themselves against the cold demons, starting the battle. Underworld, time of the battle against Loki. Trunks and 21 arrived just in time, behind a rock, they hid waiting for the right moment. Trunks. Well, it looks like we're fine. A21. What are we supposed to do? Trunks. In this part of the story, Issei uses Mjolnir to defeat Loki, but just before using it he is seriously injured. Someone gave him an artifact that would cure him completely. Towit intervened, making the encounter with that person not happen, in addition to empowering their beasts. We must find a way to make this recover. A21. Leave that to me, just give me what we are supposed to cure him with. Trunks gave a hermit seed to 21. Trunks. Now we just have to wait for the right moment. Just as Trunks said that, Issei was about to take Mjolnir, he was pierced by the fangs of Loki's beast. Trunks. Now hey transforming into SSJ2. Trunks flew towards where the battle was, and 21 headed towards Issei. When 21 arrived Issei had already fainted next to Riaz on the brink of death. A21. To the side serious. Riaz. Who are you? Annoyed and surprised. A21. If you want him to be saved, let me do what I have to do. 21 checked Issei's pulse, and saw that he was still alive. 21 chewed the seed that Trunks gave him, and proceeded to kiss Issei. Riaz. What do you think you're doing? Annoyed and jealous. A21. Breaking away from the kiss, well that should work. At that moment Issei stood up, his wounds had been healed, and he was somewhat confused by what had just happened. Riaz. Hugs him. Issei, are you alive? Issei. What the hell happened? Chairwoman. It was you. Riaz. No. It was her. Issei. Approaches 21. Was it really you? A21. Yes. It was me. With a smile. Issei. I thank you very much. A21. You don't have to thank me. Going into his Majin form now, we have to go help the others. 21 flew away towards the battle site. Issei. Damn. Issei is really cute. Thanks to the help of Trunks and 21, they were able to defeat Loki without problems. Once the battle was over, everyone gathered to congratulate Issei. Issei. It was nothing guys, besides the one you should thank is the girl who saved me, right? Turning around to look for 21. What? Where she went? Akeno. The blonde boy who also participated in the fight is not here either. Riaz. It's like they have completely disappeared by magic. Behind the rubble were 21 and Trunks watching what was happening. A21. Well, we did it. Trunks. Yes. It's time to return to Conton City. From Conton City the Supreme Kaiosama of Time brought them back. Chronoa. I see they did very well. Trunks. We didn't really have any difficulties. A21. Now all that remains is for the others to do their jobs. Year 764, capital of the West. Sona, Tsubaki, Kiba, Akeno, Raswis and Serafal had arrived at the western capital just when Frieza had arrived on Earth. Sona. Well, it seems we are in the right time. Raswis. Look, they're pointing towards some mountains. Frieza's ship could be seen in the Rocky Mountains outside the city. Akeno. That must be that guy's ship. Suddenly they were interrupted by a large explosion which occurred right behind them. People could be seen running and being attacked by soldiers from Frieza's army. Tsubaki. We too must act now. They all came forward to help people. When the soldiers saw this, they were surprised at how some girls opposed them. Soldier 1. This is no place for girls like you. Soldier 2. Having interfered in Great Frieza's plans will only hasten his death. Akeno, without saying a word, cast a lightning spell which left both soldiers dejected. Akeno. Ara, I think I overdid it a little. The other soldiers of Frieza's army realized this and began to attack the girls, but they had no problem with the soldiers. Frieza noticed this and headed to the western capital to take care of it himself. Frieza. But what interesting powers and abilities, I didn't know that Earthlings could be so powerful. Sona. Damn. It's Frieza. Serafal. Do you know him, Sotan? That guy is very scary. Sona. Issei-kun has a friend who is related to him. Frieza. Oh wow. I'm flattered to know that on Earth they know the name of the Emperor of the Universe. Raswis. Akeno-san, we have to do it now. Akeno. Yes, you're right. Removing the clays. Both clays were placed, a great shine originated from the Aseno. Well. Sona, you and the others help as many people as you can, I'll try to make time until Trunks arrives. Sona. Okay. Be very careful. Aseno rose, facing Frieza. Frieza. Oh, I don't know what you just did, but I can sense a very amazing power in you, this seems like it will be fun. Aseno. Then let's start at once. Serious. Aseno cast an energy spell, which hit Frieza squarely, causing him some damage. Frieza. You're starting to be a bother. Something annoying. Frieza rushed towards Aseno trying to land some blows, he managed to hit her a couple of punches, and then with a kick, he sent her away causing her to hit a building. Without letting her react, he began to shoot energy arrays at her. Frieza. This is what happens when you challenge Great Frieza furious. When the smoke cleared, Riseno was seen very hurt, covered in blood and with holes in her body. Immediately afterward the fusion separated. They all approached, very concerned to see how Raswas and Akeno were, who were very badly injured. Sona. It can't be. With tears in her eyes, I can't feel his energy anymore. Tsubaki. So you mean that Akeno-san and Raswas-san died? Frieza. Oh wow, I didn't think I was going to kill them so easily. And now you continue. At that moment Akeno and Raswas's bodies began to glow until they faded away. Sona. But what? Surprised. If I were you, I wouldn't trust myself so much, Frieza. Frieza. Who the hell said that? Annoying. When Frieza turned around, he saw Riseno completely unharmed and right behind her an immense amount of magic circles. Riseno. Take this. From all the magic circles beams of energy came out directed towards Frieza, creating a great explosion. The impact of Riseno's attack caused Frieza to be thrown into the rubble. Serafal, Sona and Tsubaki took the opportunity to attack with a powerful elemental spell. Riseno attacked with a powerful electric spell, so that Kiba finished with a powerful slash of energy from his sword. Riseno. I don't know if that would be enough. Frieza emerged from the rubble, very angry, somewhat injured. Frieza. I'm tired of waiting for miserable Goku. You made me angry, and that's why I'm destroying this disgusting planet right now. The cold demon began to charge a ball of energy, making the earth tremble at such a magnitude of power. But an energy attack diverted Frieza's attack into the sky, creating a gigantic explosion. Frieza. Who dares to interrupt? Furious. When he turned around he saw someone coming towards him to attack him with a sword. Frieza. It was Trunks who had arrived just in time to help the girls and finish off Frieza once and for all. They all took the opportunity to hide so that the Supreme Kaiosama time would bring them back to Conton City. Kranoa. I'm glad to know you're okay. Sona. Hey, referring to Riseno, how did you create an image of yourself without us realizing it? Riseno. Well. When the flash that appeared when doing the fusion, we thought it would be a good idea to create a distraction while we planned the attack. Tsubaki. I see, it was a great strategy. We all thought they had died. Riseno. At least the Trunks who arrived at that time arrived just in time. I don't know if together we would have had a chance against him. Trunks. Well, it's 2 out of 3, only a Furia-san and Issei-san are missing. Going back to the year 779. Issei didn't have much trouble against Cooler, and Vegeta continued to beat up Frieza. Frieza. How is this possible? I am a prodigy. Vegeta. Your worst mistake was underestimating the Saiyans. Vegeta punches him in the stomach, causing him to spit out blood. And he kicked him into some rubble. Cooler. Brother furious. Cooler was heading to attack Vegeta, but Issei stood in his way. Issei. Your opponent is me serious. Issei grabbed him by the neck and began to punch him, and then hit Cooler with a point-blank energy ball, causing him to fall very weakened. Issei jumped back and got into position to launch a Gallico. Vegeta noticed this and stood next to Issei. Vegeta. If you're going to do what I think you'll do, then you have my support. Getting into position to throw a Gallico. Vegeta and Issei. Gallico. It was an attack so powerful that it made the earth shake. The attack of both Saiyans made the earth shake, hitting Cooler completely, disintegrating him completely. Vegeta. You're not doing bad at all, boy. Issei. I say the same. Vegeta. We still don't have to declare victory, just one more insect to crush. Issei. You're right. They both saw how Frieza could barely get up. Vegeta approached him, extended his hand carrying a ball of energy. Vegeta. Don't even think about resurrecting again. Frieza. Then they will go with me. Vegeta. What did you say? Annoyed and confused. The cold demon was about to use his trump card, but at that moment someone joined the battle. Goku. Frieza as he flew closer carrying a Kamehameha. Vegeta realized this and also walked away, joining Goku's attack, and Issei did not let that great opportunity go. Goku. Ka.me.ha.me.haya. Vegeta. Glowing fine. Issei. Kamehameha Finaile. The attacks of the 3 Saiyans hit the cold demon squarely, creating a large explosion, disintegrating Frieza from the face of the earth. Goku. That was close. Vegeta. Damn you Kakarot, I already had it under control, and you had to get in the way. Goku. I would like to thank you for helping me, you are very strong, what do you think if we fight one of these days? Issei. If it's okay, there is no problem. The 3 Saiyans approached where the others were. Gohan. Dad, Mr. Vegeta, that was incredible. Goku. You don't have to say it, Gohan, besides it's not us who should be congratulated. Vegeta. Kakarot's airhead is right, if it weren't for the boy turning towards Issei and Chisato, but what? Where the hell did those 2 go? Goku. A moment ago they were here. I hope to see him again, I would like to have a fight with someone as strong as him. Issei and Chisato had taken advantage of the moment that everyone was distracted so that Issei could teleport them and that Kranoa would bring them back to Conton City. When Issei and Chisato arrived they saw that only Chronoa, Silas and Trunks were there. Issei. What happened to the others? Trunks. Don't worry, they're in the present, they said they were tired, so we sent them to their time. Issei. I see. By the way, Trunks, these days there will be a banquet held in the underworld and I would like you to go. Trunks. I appreciate it, in fact I'll stay at your house in case Mira or Towa decide to attack that time. Silas. I greatly appreciate your support, we will be indebted to you. Issei. No problem. Chronoa. Well I'll send them to their time, I sent the girls to the outskirts of their school, so I'll send them there since it wasn't long ago that they left. The Supreme Kaiosama of Time sent Issei, Chisato and Trunks to the present outside Kuo Academy. But when they arrived, a big explosion was heard. When the three arrived at the place, they saw Sona, Tsubaki, Serafol and Kiba lying on the ground, very hurt. Riseno could also be seen fighting with 21, but this one she was a little different with her red eyes on her Majin form. 21 launched an attack on Riseno, which left her very injured lying on the ground, the fusion dissolved. A21. Wow, finally the person I've been waiting for has arrived. I don't expect to turn you into candy and enjoy your flavor. Smacking. Trunks. What the hell just happened? Transforming into SSJ, we have to stop her. Issei. Wait, transforming into SSJ, God, I will take care of this. Chapter 25. Altered present. A new danger is approaching. Issei, upon seeing what was happening just after returning from Conton City, transformed into SSJ God upon seeing 21's behavior. A21. I was waiting for you. I can't wait to taste you. Licks his lips. What will I turn you into? In a chocolate or in a cookie? Issei. What the hell are you talking about? Serious. A21. The more powerful the subject is, the more delicious it is when it becomes a candy. Issei. 21. I know this isn't you. Someone had to have intervened. A21. What are you talking about, my dear Issei-kun? This is the real me. Sadistic smile. Issei. I don't want to hurt you. I wouldn't dare. A21. So if you didn't attack, I would. He launches to attack him with a sadistic expression. 21 launched himself at Issei, but he dodged each of his attacks. A strange energy could be felt in 21's dark aura. A21. I can't wait to eat you. Smack, just stay still so I can turn you into chocolate. Bang. Issei. Hi, raising his kai, creating a burst of air. The power of the divine kai caused 21 to recoil and be thrown backwards. A21. What the hell did you do? It doesn't matter. It's just a matter of time before he can eat you at once and absorb your power. Launching towards Issei again. The Saiyan closed his eyes and relaxed. He extended his hands in front of him. His kai intensified. When he opened his eyes, 21 was paralyzed in front of him, trapped in the kai of the SSJ God. A21. What did you do? Why can't I move? Issei. 21. Listen to me. Seriously. A21. What the hell? I ask you something. Answer me. Issei. I know that the way you are behaving is not like you. I need you to remember who you really are. I wouldn't dare hurt you, that's why I want you to see reason. You are one of the most important people in the world. My life, and you are not an evil person, I know. Please stop whoever did that to you, you don't have to keep listening to her. 21 was staring at Issei, without saying a word. Little by little the aura and energy of the bio-android began to decrease and her eyes returned to their normal blue color. She fell to the ground, collapsed. Issei. Number 21. Worried and returning to his base state. The brunette returned to her base state and approached 21, taking her in her arms. 21 little by little opened her eyes. A21. Issei-kun. Weak. Issei. That's great. You're back to being you. He hugs her. Hey Trunks, help me get the others back on their feet, please. Breaks away from the hug. Trunks. Yes, Furia-san. Please help me. Chisato. Yes. We have to take them home, we can cure them more comfortably there. Issei and 21 stood up watching as Chisato and Trunks helped Akeno, Roswas, Sona, Serafol and Tsubaki. A21. I did. This. Covering her mouth with her hand on the verge of tears. Issei. Unfortunately yes. 21 turns to Issei and starts crying, to which the brunette responds with a hug. A21. It can't be, that part of me was supposed to no longer exist. Crying. Issei. Don't worry, I know you weren't that one a moment ago. Now the important thing is to help the others. Go and help Trunks, I'll go get the hermit seeds. A21. Okay, wiping tears. Issei. See you in a minute. Teleports. The brunette teleported to Master Karen, who was watching the landscape from his tower while Yajirobe slept. Issei. Hello. Karen. Issei. It's nice to see you. Issei. Master Karen, I'm also happy to see you. Karen. I imagine you stayed without the hermit seeds. Issei. Huh? How did he know? Karen. Well, since you and Goku are alike in everything, I assumed that you came only for the seeds just like he did. Issei. I'm so sorry teacher, but I'm in a hurry, I promise I'll bring you something the next time he comes. Haran. Don't worry, boy, I understand your situation. Issei. So you know what just happened. Haran. A strange energy was suddenly felt, perhaps it was the work of that Towa person. Issei. Whatever. We have to stop them immediately. Haran. Anyway, boy, the seeds are in that vase over there, take what you need. Issei. I thank you very much, Master. Karen takes the seeds. Well, I'm leaving. Teleports. Haran. Take care boy. The chestnut tree, after obtaining the seeds from the hermit, teleported back to the outskirts of the Kuo Academy. Chisato, Trunks and 21 were already gathered, and with the help of Issei they teleported to their house. They accommodated those who were injured. Chisato began to heal the others, while Issei changed his clothes, and Trunks checked the time machine. The Brown approaches Chisato to ask about the status of the others. Issei. How are you doing? Chisato. They were seriously injured. The type of attack used 21 is not like the one she usually uses. I am afraid that she was someone who altered her organism, and the evil part of her reappeared. Issei. Maybe it was Towa, she must have altered 21's mind and made him attack the others. By the way. Speaking of her. Where is she? Chisato. She locked herself in her room since we arrived. You should go talk to her. Issei. Distribute this for me. He gives her the seeds. I'll go talk to her. The brunette went up the stairs and headed to room 21. Issei. Knocks on the door. Number 21. Are you there? I'm going in. The brunette opened the door and saw number 21 sitting on her bed, with her head down, very depressed. Issei. Are you okay? A21. Crying. That part of me was not supposed to exist, I didn't have to behave like that. I'm just a threat to everyone. Covering her eyes. Issei. Sits next to her. It wasn't you. Hasegawa-sensei, and I believe it was Towa's doing. You have never behaved like that. I believe. A21. You may believe one thing. But I hurt Sona and the others. I don't think they can forgive me. Issei. Look at me. He takes her shoulders. For everyone here you are very important, and especially for me. Even if you go crazy. I will find a way for you to return to normal. Because I love you. A21. Issei-kun. Blushing. I love you too. Kiss it. The kiss was long, and they separated due to lack of air. They both stared at each other and kissed again. The brunette laid 21 on the bed and began to fondle the android's breasts. Attention Lem. The door to the room opened. Trunks. Hey Issei. How are the? He stopped suddenly. Sorry, I'll come later. Issei and 21 got up and fixed their clothes. A21. Let's go see how the others are, I'm worried about their condition. Issei. Still blushing. It's okay. A21. Kisses him. Don't worry, we'll do it whenever you want. They both left the room and went down the stairs. When they reached the living room, they were all already completely recovered, without injuries, thanks to the hermit seeds. A21. I beg you all to forgive me. Bowing. Serafal. Don't worry. If it was that Towa person who made you behave like that, we'll have to make her pay. Issei. Sarah-chan is right, we shouldn't let them continue doing their thing. Raswas. So you don't have to feel bad about what happened there. If you were being controlled, it's not your fault. Sona. The important thing is that Issei-kun arrived on time and made you see reason. A21. I thank you all very much. With a smile, the girls gathered together and stood talking to each other while Issei approached Trunks. Trunks. I see you managed to make everything end well. Issei. That's because I can't let any of them get hurt. I don't know what I would do if one of them were missing. Trunks. I see that every Saiyan has something to protect. Issei. Although even though we are so calm, the fact that Mira and Towa could be around in another era or turning someone else against us still makes me uneasy. Trunks. Don't worry, rest assured that we will defeat them once we find them. For us who are Saiyans, no enemy can defeat us, just as my father said. The strength of the Saiyans has no limit. Issei. That phrase sounds just like something he would say. His stomach begins to growl. Damn, those time trips left me very hungry. Just when the brunette finished speaking, a magic circle appeared in the living room of the house, from which Graphia emerged. Graphia. Issei-sama. Surzicha-sama says that the preparations for the banquet are ready. Issei. Perfect, thank you very much for letting us know, Graphia. We will be there in a moment. Serafal. Well, everyone heard, we have to prepare. Issei. Exactly. Well, I'll go after Mr. Beerus, with Sensei and Eyes. Sona. Don't take too long, you should also prepare. Issei. Well, I won't be late. Teleports. The brunette teleported to Eyes' planet. He told him about the event, but he rejected the invitation since he had many things to do on his planet. So the Saiyan went after Beerus and Whis. Issei-san, what a surprise to see you here. Did you come to train? Issei. No, Whis-sensei. Do you remember that banquet I mentioned right after the tournament? Whis. Oh yes, I remember perfectly. Issei. Well, they just told us it's today, so I came for you and Mr. Beerus. Whis. That's great, I'll go wake him up, just wait a minute. Issei. Okay. Whis went to wake up Beerus. After a few moments everyone was ready. Beerus. Yawns. I hope the food at the place we are going to is good, because if not. Threatening look, I will destroy that place completely. Issei. Don't worry, Mr. Beerus, I assure you that you will be in for a big surprise. Beerus. It better be that way. Everyone got together and with the help of Issei's teleportation, they arrived at the chestnut tree's house. Everyone finished preparing, and with the help of Graphia's magic circle, they arrived at Gremory Castle. Upon arriving they were greeted by Surziches, the Gremory family and Ria's group. Surziches. Issei-kun, Bill-sama, Wisama, girls. I appreciate you being able to come. Issei. Thank you for the invitation, but it seems strange to me that the room is so empty. I thought there would be many people from the factions here. Surziches. Oh, don't worry, the other guests will arrive soon, and I need you and Furia-san to accompany me. Issei. And what is it about? Surziches. Come with me. The rest of you get settled, they will attend to you in a moment. Issei. Okay. Grafia led the girls, Trunks, Beerus and Whis, while Issei and Chisato left with Surziches. They both walked through the corridors until they reached a kind of meeting room. When they both entered, the leaders of the factions were there, some gods of both Earth and other kingdoms. Surziches. Please take a seat. Issei. What is this all about? Chisato. Before we start with what is supposed to be happening here, we demand to know the reason for this sudden meeting. Surziches. I beg your pardon for calling you to this meeting in such a hasty manner. The reason for this meeting is to agree on an alliance with you, Issei-kun. Issei. Huh. With me? And why with me? Surziches. By having extraordinary abilities and extraordinary power, we believe that all factions could work together with you and have you as our ally against future threats. That is why each of the gods, kings and leaders will make their proposals to you below. That. Issei. Wait a minute. He gets up from his chair. Let's see if I understood. From what you told me, I see that they want me to become their ally, and that's why they organized this whole meeting. Azazel. Well. In a nutshell, yes. Issei. There was no need to do such a thing. Michael. What do you mean? Issei. What I mean is that I fight mainly for this planet and for the people who are important to me. My grandfather did it like this, and I will also follow in his footsteps. I will fight for what is fair and what is best for the planet, that's all. I have no intentions of destroying or killing anyone just for fun. Surziches. From your words, I can see that you agree with our intentions. Issei. You could say so. Surziches. I'm glad you agreed with everyone here. Issei. But. We must make certain things clear. I will not follow anyone's orders. I will act only when necessary. I do not want to be bothered if I am training, and above all, if any of you dare to hurt the girls they live with me. I will tear him into pieces and murder him with my own hands. Serious. Everyone in the room was completely silent after hearing Issei's words, some out of fear and others with some annoyance at the brunette's arrogant attitude, until the god Zeus broke the silence by standing up abruptly from his chair. Zeus. Insolent boy, how dare you talk like that to gods like us, you need someone to give you a lesson. Issei just stood there without saying a word, while Surziches tried to calm the god of thunder. Surziches. Zeus-sama, I beg you to calm down. The great roar interrupted Surziches. A great pressure was felt in the place, which terrified everyone who was inside the room. It was Issei who had transformed into SSJROs too. Issei. A god. But. What is a deity with insignificant powers like you, compared to a Saiyan with the power of gods? Sadistic look, I think you haven't understood the concept of divinity very well, and if it's not a problem then. Let me teach you the true power of a god. Raising his kai. Gusts of wind formed in the place, windows shattered and walls began to crack. The pressure of Issei's power was so overwhelming that everyone had the feeling that they were about to be crushed. Chisato. Takes his hand. Issei-kun, you have to calm down, we came here for a banquet, remember? Issei. You're right. These vain and insignificant gods are not worthy of my divine power. Returning to its base state, I apologize for having missed Surziches sama. Now, could we return to the banquet? I'm dying of hunger. With a smile. Surziches. Okay. Let's go now. Issei. Oh, and by the way. Mr. Beerus is here, so don't make him angry for anything in the world, because if he gets angry, he will destroy and annihilate everything in his path. Not even all of us together could stop him. So take your precautions. When the other gods heard Beerus's name, they began to murmur desperately, and the tension in the atmosphere was noticeable. Surziches. Don't worry. I'll make sure he gets the best care possible. Once the meeting was over, everyone left and went to the dining room. Many families from the underworld and important people from each of the factions and kingdoms were there. Issei and Chisato arrived at the table where Beerus, the girls and the others were. Everyone began to eat. Issei and Trunks ate like good Saiyans. Beerus and Whis tasted the food that the underworld had prepared, while the others only watched in amazement as the aforementioned devoured the food. 21 was with her head down, as if something worried her. Issei noticed this since she was sitting next to him. Issei. Is something wrong, 21? You've been very strange since we started eating. A21. I was just thinking. What would happen if I got out of control again? Issei. Don't worry. I've already told you before, right? If you get out of control, we'll make sure you get back to normal, so don't think about it anymore. A21. Thank you. Issei-kun. Issei. Now let's continue enjoying the food. Willing to continue eating, eh? Who the hell stole my plate of food? Beerus. You were distracted. Licking his lips, oh I thought you weren't hungry anymore. And it would be a shame to waste such a heavenly delicacy. Whis. Mr. Beerus. That was very rude of you. Issei was angry since Mr. Beerus had taken away some of his food. Luckily there was only one pudding left on the table. Issei. Then. You won't mind if I eat the last pudding. Taking it quickly. Beerus. What? Do not you dare. Issei took the pudding and in a few seconds she finished it without leaving anything. Issei. It was delicious. It's a shame you couldn't try it, Mr. Beerus. Beerus. Rude boy. How dare you do this to the god of destruction? Issei. You did it first. Seriously. Beerus. It seems I haven't been very harsh on you expelling his destroyer god Kai. Issei. It seems like our fight got a little early passing SSJROs. Beerus. Before creation comes destruction, seriously. A great pressure was felt in the atmosphere. Everyone was terrified by the chaos that both were causing just before they both began to fight. A voice was heard calling everyone's attention. It was Seraphil. Seraphil. Attention everyone, we cannot end this banquet without thanking our defender Haidu Issei, and what better way to pay tribute to him by remembering him as the Op-Eye Dragon. A screen began to descend in the center and on which a video of Issei singing and dancing to the Op-Eye Dragon song began to play. Upon hearing this, Beerus and Whis turned their gaze to the screen. Issei. Damn, I didn't remember that. Returning to his base state. Bills. You really are full of surprises, boy, but this one is the best of all. Whis. Jojoho Issei-san didn't know you were a star in the underworld. Moving in his seat to the rhythm of the song. Issei. Well, I'll just have to hold on until it's over. And think that I did that kind of stupid thing. Sona. One-sama, if he crossed the line this time, when he's here I'll let him know what he did. Issei. It won't be necessary. There is no reason to get angry. The song ended as well as the banquet. Once everyone was satisfied, they left Grimory Castle, each one ready to head to his home. Beerus. Bound, we appreciate the invitation. That was definitely an exquisite meal. Whis. Bound, thank you very much Surziches-sama. Surziches. No need to thank, you can come whenever you want. Whis. Well Issei-san, girls. We will return to our planet, take care of yourselves. Issei. Take care of yourselves. Whis and Beerus disappeared in a trail of light. Issei thanked him for the food and met up with Trunks and the girls to return home when suddenly a portal opened in the sky from which Mira and Towa emerged. Towa. Finally, that annoying god of destruction is gone. Look. We can now tear you into Saiyan pieces. Issei. Are you serious? Going to SSJROs to destroy me? A being as weak as you, I can tell that unlike the last time, your powers have increased but not enough to face me. Towa. That transformation. It seems that every day you manage to overcome your limits, you really are an exceptional warrior. Issei. I'm happy. That you have me in that concept. Mira and Towa descended, to which Issei just stared at them. Issei. I don't want anyone to interfere, referring to Trunks and the girls. I'll do this alone. Roswis. Be very careful. Issei. I'll have it. Launching towards Mira and Towa. Issei took out his Kai sword and attacked Towa. She blocked it with her staff. Mira tried to interfere, but Issei kicked him in the stomach and sent him away, and then punched Towa and made her shoot towards some rocks. Issei. A waste of time. The Saiyan began to walk towards Mira, who was already somewhat injured with just one kick. As he approached, he took out his Kai sword and with a sadistic look he was preparing to kill Mira once and for all, when suddenly he heard a very familiar voice behind him. Issei-kun, stop. Issei. That voice. It can't be. Paralyzing instantly. Come with me, Issei-kun. Those two have been torturing me to hurt you, please help me, help your girlfriend, or is it that? Have you already forgotten me? Issei. Turning around, Uma-chan. Returning to his base state, seriously, is that you? Uma. If it's me, my dear Issei-kun, come with me. Issei approached and tried to touch Uma, she vanished from her, to which Towa threw a kind of energy beam at him, which did not harm him in any way. Issei. Damn, hit the ground, I should have known that everything was an illusion, but what does it matter, your attack didn't even work. Towa. Are you sure? Why don't you try to transform into Super Saiyan God? Issei. If you want it that way. Hey I am going to SSJ, but what? Hey I am moving to SSJ too, what this? Looking at his hands, I can't transform into Super Saiyan God. Towa. Divine Kai Restrictor, you will not be able to use your most powerful transformations. Look. And that's not all. Mira stood next to Towa, their bodies came together and began to glow. When the glow disappeared, there was a single being. Mira and Towa had merged. Mira final form, get ready damn Saiyan. Issei. TSK. As if I need to use Divine Kai, it looks like we'll do it the old-fashioned way. Hey I going to SSJ4. Both started to attack each other. Issei managed to punch Mira in the face, but she didn't even flinch after his attack, to which he tried again, but Mira blocked his attack and then gave him a kick that would send him towards some rubble. The brunette got up somewhat sore. Issei. Damn. How the hell did they get so strong? It doesn't matter. Issei. Ka. Me. Ha. Me. Greg. Boost. Issei. Hi. Mira just raised her hand and with a ball of energy, countered Issei's Kamehameha doing double damage. Issei was almost on his knees, very bloody. Issei. Damn. And he thought he had it under control. Look. This is your end throwing towards Issei. Chapter 26. A miraculous technique. A new warrior appears. Issei, very injured and very limited by Towa's spell, was prepared to receive the final blow from the fusion of Mira and Towa. Trunks. Hey Issei, catch her throwing an object with his hand. Issei. He catches it and sees what it is, excellent, just what he needed. Trunks had thrown a hermit seed at Issei, he ate it and regained his energy, dodging Mira's attack. Look. That miserable Trunks, always meddling in what doesn't matter to him, but hey, it wouldn't be so difficult for me to take care of you. Issei. We'll see about that. Launches towards him. Issei began to attack Mira, at first he managed to land a few blows, but Mira barely caught up with him in speed, which forced him to switch to defense. Look. Let's see how much longer you'll defend yourself throwing a punch. The blow hit Issei squarely, causing him to fly through the air. The Saiyan managed to recover before hitting the ground. Issei. Damn. At this rate I'll only be exhausted, for the moment I can only dodge him while I think about something, Issei thought. Issei began to fly at high speed, Mira followed him to finish him off, meanwhile Trunks prepared to help Issei. Trunks. Increasing his Kai, I have to help him, at this rate it is only a matter of time before he dies. Afuria-sama, I beg you to think of something to defeat those two. Chisato. Okay, I'll find a way to help them, now go and help Issei-kun. Trunks. Yes. He flies in the direction of Issei. Sona. Chisato-san, do you think there is a way to make Issei-kun return to normal? Chisato. I still don't know how to undo that spell that Issei-kun has, but let me think for a moment, I'm sure I will find a way for Issei-kun and Trunks-kun to win this fight, for the moment we can only trust in them. Trunks managed to catch up with Issei, while both of them dodged Mira's attacks. Issei. I thought I asked you not to interfere. Trunks. It's too obvious that you're not going to defeat him on your own. Issei. Although it pains me to admit it. You're right. Trunks. Hey I am going to SSJ3. They both launched themselves at Mira, trying to attack him, but he dodged his attacks until they both managed to punch him, which made him retreat a little. Issei took advantage of this to kick him away even further. Mira. Wow. Apparently I won't be able to underestimate them. He increases his Kai and approaches both Saiyans at high speed. Issei. Are you ready, Trunks? Charging energy. Trunks. Whenever you say increasing his Kai. Look. No matter what you try, your destiny will always be the same. Approaching Issei and Trunks. Trunks. Gallic. Issei. Ka.me.ha.me. Both. Hey I. Both attacks were unified, a powerful combined attack was directed towards Mira, who near Issei and Trunks received the attack fully, a large explosion was formed, leaving a screen of smoke. Trunks. Did it work? Issei. No. Although it was a powerful attack, I can still feel its energy. The smoke did not finish dissipating when Mira shot towards Trunks, giving him a strong blow to the stomach, causing him to spit out blood and saliva, and then taking Issei's head and smashing it against the ground. Look. They are a bunch of bastards. I must say that hurt me a little, but it doesn't matter, I already have them where I wanted, and now I will finish you off right now. Just when Mira was about to finish off both Saiyans, he received a blow that made him shoot towards some rocks. It was 21 who approached to help them both. Issei. 21. It wasn't necessary for you to come closer. A21. This is not the time to talk nonsense, try to buy time, you and Trunks go to Hasegawa-sensei, apparently he already found a way to defeat these two. Issei. But. You won't be able to defeat him. A21. Just go launching to attack Mira. Issei. Okay, he takes Trunks and teleports. They both teleported to where Sona and the others were, they fell to the floor very exhausted. Sona. Issei-kun quickly, give a hermit seed to Trunks-san. Issei. I can't. The ones I had were destroyed when my attack returned. Chisato casts a healing spell on them, causing them both to recover all their energy. Chisato. I found a way in which they can defeat him, but they need time. Despues. We can get that time by taking out the Patara clays, can't we, Akeno-san? Akeno. I was about to say the same thing, putting on his clay. Both merged, thus appearing Raseno. Raseno. You guys focus on what Chisato-san will tell you. He flies towards the fight. Hiroka. We'll join in too, Naya. We can't leave all the fun to them alone. Hiroka came out to the scene of the battle, followed by Tsubaki and Serafo, and lastly Sona. Trunks. Furia-san, what do you have in mind? Chisato. First I have to ask you something, do you know the fusion technique? Issei. I've only heard it in my grandfather's and Wiz-sensei's stories. Trunks. I do know it, a little embarrassed isn't it, where they do ridiculous steps similar to the Mafuba technique? Chisato. Yes, but it's the only way to defeat him. Trunks-san, please, would you be so kind as to teach Issei the steps of fusion? Trunks. Sure. The first thing you have to do is. Trunks proceeds to teach him the fusion steps, to which Issei was only with his eyes wide open, finishing understanding the strange steps that Trunks had made. Issei. Hasegawa-sensei. Could you tell me this is a joke? Chisato. This is no joke, now hurry up, we don't have time to waste. Issei. But. Trunks. But. Issei. Why do I have to do those ridiculous things? Ashamed. Chisato. Are you going to let one of your beloved girls get hurt? Issei. Okay. He approaches Trunks, let's do this once and for all. Chisato. I must warn you that he only has one chance every so often, if you fail you have to wait 30 minutes to separate. Issei. Are you ready, Trunks? Trunks. Anytime. Issei and Trunks. Sayun-ha. A flash of light appeared, and everyone was very surprised by the strange technique they had performed, but Chisato was still very serious, since she knew something was wrong. When the flash of light disappeared, a being with a vest, very thin white pants, brown hair with purple highlights with a sword on his back appeared. Fusion. I don't think it worked. Chisato. Size Issei-kun didn't extend his finger at the end, and the angle of inclination was uneven. Cast a spell at them. Chisato's spell caused the two to separate. Issei. Wasn't it supposed to last 30 minutes? Chisato. I cast a spell to make them both separate, but if they fail this time, they will have to wait the mandatory 30 minutes. Trunks. Okay, Issei. Let's go again. Issei. Okay. Extends his arms. Issei and Trunks. Sayun-ha. The flash of light that appeared was much more intense than the previous one, a small smile appeared on Chisato's face, assuming that the fusion was a success. Chisato. Well. How do you feel? Fusion. Well, I would say good. Chisato. Well, now go. You know what you have to do. Fusion. Wait, we don't have a name yet, it would be much cooler to have one. Let's see. Trunks. No. I know. I'll be Issei's teleports. In the battle, all of Issei's girls worked as a team to keep Mira busy, all of them very exhausted, unable to resist the attacks or match the speed of the enemy. Until Issei appeared. Issei. You girls did very well. But I'm going to take care of him. Raseno. I see. That's what it was about. Look. Who the hell are you? Issei. We also did the same as you. When Issei and Trunks merge, Issei appears. Increases his Kai, but it's time to put the talk aside. Look. I agree with you. Let's see how strong you are. Issei. Let's fight. They both rose up and began to fight, the difference in power had disappeared, Issei punched Mira, causing him to shoot towards the ground. Issei. Hayaya transforming into SSJ2, take this, pointing his hands at Mira. Hayaya. The large amount of bursts of Kai came out of the Saiyan's hands, hitting Mira squarely, causing her considerable damage. Look. I must tell you that that attack was excellent, I don't know if I would survive another one like that. But. He increases his Kai. If you think that's all my power, you're very wrong. Issei. Go ahead. I'm waiting, crosses his arms, I hope you don't turn out to be a talker. Look. Miserable. Don't make fun of me. He throws himself towards Issei. Mira tried to kick him at neck level, but he blocked it with his arm, so that he then tried to punch him in the stomach, the Saiyan couldn't block it, so Mira took advantage of this to give him a good number of blows, so that in the end he joined his hands, and with one blow sent him to the ground. Issei, just before hitting the ground, used his hand to recover and stand up. Issei. Wow. He wipes the blood from his mouth. I see that you are still hiding a little of your power. Issei began to ascend slowly to get in front of his sights. Issei. It's time for me to stop holding back. Look. What do you mean, damn Saiyan? Issei. Who knows? Going to SSJ3, or is it that? Aren't you curious? To know all my power? Look. You're just bragging. Issei. Confident smile. Let's stop talking, I only have 20 more minutes of fusion, but I only need 5 to tear you to pieces. Look. Shut up launching to attack him. Issei dodges it too slow. When you're going to attack, you have to do it this way. He kicks him. Issei's kick leaves Mira very stunned. The Saiyan takes the opportunity to attack him with blows and kicks at high speed. Issei, what's happening? Punches and kicks, where are those energies that you fought with before? Punches and kicks. Look. Stop making fun of me, tries to hit him. Issei dodges it and counterattacks with a kick. This is getting boring, I'll finish this once and for all. Mira. Panting, it can't be. Don't tell me that. Issei. Exactly. That's just what you're thinking, this isn't all my power. I'm moving to SSJ4 now, yes. This is all my power. Look. It can't be. You can't be that powerful. Issei. Of course I can be. You underestimated the Saiyans just for the simple fact of restricting the divine Kai. That was your mistake, and as you know, every mistake has its consequences. He launches him to attack him. Seeing that Issei was approaching at high speed, Mira tried to cover herself, but the Saiyan's blow was so strong that her defense was in vain. With a kick she sent him into the air. Mira tried to launch a beam of energy, but Issei hit him. He dodged as he got closer, flying around the energy. Issei threw a punch, and Mira also did the same. The clash of fists caused the ground to crack and break, but due to the difference in powers, Mira was left in a bad position in such a confrontation. Issei took the opportunity to increase his Kai and launch himself back towards Mira. Issei's hand was wrapped in a red aura, and he began to beat Mira. Without letting him react, he continued attacking him without stopping. A Saiyan punched him in the stomach, making him spit out blood. Very exhausted, he remained motionless. Issei stepped back and began to charge energy. Issei places his hands in front. Bayang places his hands behind. Issei. Kiiya. Me. Heiya. Me. Issei's big bang Kamehameha went straight towards Mira, who received it fully, leaving him on the verge of death, but he was still standing, badly injured but standing. Issei. That wretch. He's very resistant. But it doesn't matter. He draws his sword and rushes towards Mira. Issei begins to attack Mira with his sword, filling his body with cuts, then attacks his legs, causing him to fall to his knees. Meanwhile, Sona and the others witnessed such a scene. Sona. Hasegawa-sensei. Chisato. Tell me, Sona. Do you think the fusion time will not run out? The amount of power they have used is abysmal. Don't you think it will affect the fusion time? Chisato. Even though you're right. There's no need to worry. One more move and they will end this battle. Smiles. Issei. You could have stayed in your era without causing problems after I defeated Demigra, but you decided to do your thing again. Raises his hand. When Issei raised his hand, a strange sphere formed in it. Issei. Disappear forever, throws the sphere. Upon impact with Mira, his body began to disintegrate little by little, to which the others were very amazed by such an attack. Tsubaki. What did he do? Chisato. Soul Punisher, a special Metamoru fusion technique, eliminates all the enemy's negative energy. Mira and Towa, being fused, accumulated a lot of negative energy, so they were disintegrated. Serafal. So. Why don't I use it from the beginning? Chisato. Laughs a little. Apparently I think he just wanted to have a little fun. Issei. Finally. It's over. For the moment the story is safe. Turns towards the sky. I hope you saw it, Goku-san. Vegeta-san. On Beerus's planet. Beerus and Whis had already arrived at their planet after having enjoyed the banquet. Beerus. Yawns. We finally arrived. Hey Whis, why are you so thoughtful? Whis. I think there were problems with Issei-san and the girls, but fortunately they already resolved it. Suddenly Whis's staff began to blink. Whis. A call. Oh, but who could it be? Answers hello. Whis-san, Beerus-sama. I am the great priest. The reason for my call is to make an important announcement to you. Whis. Greetings, high priest. Beerus. And what is it about? Anshinken. Zeno-sama has summoned all the gods of destruction and angels for an important meeting. Whis. Don't worry, we will be present at that meeting. Anshinken. And one more thing. Bills. What's happening? Anshinken. Zeno-sama has found out that you have a relationship with Son Goku's great-great-grandson. He wants him to also attend the meeting. Beerus and Whis. Witee. Chapter 27. Student vs Teacher. Issei's hidden power. After having defeated Mira and Towa once and for all, they approached the others, and just when they both touched the ground, they separated. Which I missed them a bit. Issei. Huh. Isn't it supposed to last 30 minutes? Trunks. I guess we shortened the fusion time by the force of the attacks, we both spent too much energy and Kai. Issei. Anyway. The important thing is that we got rid of them. And apparently. Transforming into SSJ Blue. I'm fine now, I can now use Divine Kai. returning to its base state. Trunks. The timelines are as they should. Perfectly balanced. I thank you very much for your help and well, I guess I'll have to return to Conton City. At that moment the girls approached them, now calmer with the situation under control. Chisato. The best thing would be for you to report the situation to the Supreme Kaio of the time and stay here at least until tomorrow. We must make sure that those two did not have some kind of plan B or something like that. Sona. Besides, I guess they both must be tired. Issei. Sona is right, Trunks aside. I would like to fight you before you leave. I imagine that with all these anomalies and temporal alterations, it will take a long time before we see each other again. Trunks. Well, no problem for me. And although I know I have no chance against you, a farewell fight will be very interesting. Issei. Well. Then in that case let's go back home. The girls approached Issei so they could teleport home. Trunks informed Supreme Time Kaio about the situation and that he would stay until the next day just to confirm and assure that everything would be fine. The rest of the day passed normally. The next day, after breakfast, everyone gathered in the patio. Issei already had his black suit on. The girls were sitting on one side accompanied by Kiba, who approached so he could say goodbye to his teacher. Meanwhile, both Saiyans positioned themselves face to face in the middle of the courtyard, both waiting for a signal from 21. A21. I designed this artifact in case Issei-kun thought of overdoing it with his powers. You will fight inside this energy dome, he will withstand most of his attacks, so don't overdo it. Issei. Well Trunks. I hope you don't hold back just because it's a friendly battle. Trunks. I say the same to you. Also moving on to SSJ2 what's happening? Aren't you going to transform into SSJ God? Issei. I think I'll be fine for now. I'd like to check for a couple of things first. Both Saiyans began to rise into the sky, while 21 activated the device using a remote control. An energy barrier covered them, it extended for a few kilometers, protecting the house and its surroundings. Once the barrier finished unfolding, both of them launched themselves against each other. Being transformed into SSJ2, the fight was very even. Issei launched a kick that hit Trunks squarely in the stomach, causing him to be thrown backwards. When Trunks managed to recover from the blow caused by Issei, he saw how Issei began to raise his Kai, so he responded by doing the same. Strong air currents could be seen from outside the barrier. Meanwhile, the girls watched the fight very attentively, trying to follow Issei and Trunks' movements. Just as Trunks finished raising his Kai, he noticed that Issei was still doing it. The size of his aura increased, and rays began to emanate from his body. Issei. Her hair began to grow, going to SSJ3 sorry for being late. Now, what were we up to? Without saying a word, Trunks lunged at him, trying to hit him, while Issei dodged the blows with a little difficulty. One of Trunks' punches grazed his face. At that moment, Issei decided it was time to respond. He began to land a couple of blows and then caught Trunks' punches in their tracks, which caused a struggle between the two. Issei. What's happening? Can't you keep up with me? He exclaimed while he looked at him arrogantly. Trunks. Don't be so confident. He draws back one of his legs and then hits a knee on Issei's stomach. While Issei was stunned, Trunks, without giving him time to react, punched him, causing him to shoot towards the limits of the barrier. Without letting Issei react, Trunks stretched both his arms in the direction of Issei. He began to move his hands in very fast movements. And almost imperceptible. Issei managed to react, but it was too late. The future Saiyan formed a triangle with his hands and launched a powerful attack towards Issei, creating a large explosion and a screen of smoke. Fortunately, Issei managed to get his arms back in time. Trunks' attack caused some damage to his suit and he had some minor burns on his arms. The smoke cleared and just as Issei looked up he saw Trunks with his sword drawn lunging directly at him. Noticing how he approached, Issei returned to his base state. He closed his eyes and when he opened them they were red. The aura he emanated intensified and became Super Saiyan God. He stretched out his arms and with his aura he stopped Trunks in his tracks, just like he had done before with 21. Issei. Damn. That was close. Trunks. Damn. What did you do? He says as he tries to struggle to free himself from what Issei had done. Issei released that aura of divine Kai with which he had stopped Trunks, making the latter manage to move and finish the attack with his sword. At that moment Issei teleported, appearing behind him, hitting him with a kick in the face. Quickly, Issei positioned himself to perform the final blow. Issei. Kaya. Mii. Heiaya. Mii Heiaya. Trunks. Both attacks collided causing the barrier to begin to crack. The girls became alert in case there was any emergency. Even though Trunks' attack had tremendous power, they could not do anything against Issei's strength. The future Saiyan received the attack squarely, causing him to lose the battle. However, the impact of the attack was such that the barrier designed by the android was destroyed, causing strong wind currents to be created, but despite that, the barrier did its job quite well. Seeing that Trunks was weakened, Issei returned to his base state, descended and woke him up to give him a hermit seed. Trunks. Damn. I lost. He says, getting up while he eats the seed. Issei. Even though there is a considerable power difference, you knew how to defend yourself very well. If I had trusted myself more, I would have been defeated. Trunks. Well, I guess it's time for me to go. He wake up. Trunks launched a capsule, from which the time machine appeared. The others came up to say goodbye to the purple-haired man and then shook hands with Issei. Trunks. With the power you have, I think I can rest assured that this world will not be like mine. I am very grateful that you have helped me, Silas-sama and the Supreme Kaya-sama of time will be eternally grateful. Don't hesitate to ask us for help if you need it. Issei. Count on us too if you need help. We'll be alert. Trunks. Well, see you soon. Trunks rose to reach the time machine, he turned it on and programmed it to arrive back at Conton City. The machine took off, and while the purple-haired boy said goodbye, a kind of vortex opened, the device was absorbed and Trunks he disappeared, returning to his time. 8:21. Everything is back to normal. But more importantly I managed to get some benefit out of all this. Issei. Huh. What are you talking about? 8:21. To this. Extends his hand. The object that 21 had in his hand was a kind of box, which when opened, you could see some capsules similar to the ones Trunks possessed. Raswas. Don't tell me that. 8:21. Yes. Take advantage of the fact that Trunks was very distracted by this Mira and Towa issue. And. He managed to create my own time machine. The android threw the capsule, it exploded and transformed into a machine identical to Trunks. 8:21. It is fully functional. I ran some tests and it works great. Also, if we want to keep in touch with them about any temporary anomaly. And just in case, I designed a communicator, which allows you to communicate through different eras. Sona. Wow. I see that you managed to get some benefit from all this. Issei. You couldn't expect less from 21. They will be very useful in the future. Well, after all this we deserve a little peace and quiet. Let's go rest. Diba said goodbye to everyone and left, while the brunette yawned and the girls began to walk behind him. A roar was heard on the ground and when he turned around, a flash of light was seen in the sky, which later impacted the patio of the house. As the smoke cleared from the explosion caused by the impact, some very familiar figures could be seen, they were Mr. Beerus and Whis. Beerus. Issei, where are you? He says in a desperate and slightly upset tone. Issei. Is something wrong? Mr. Bills. Beerus, upon hearing the brunette's voice, runs towards him without wasting time, takes him by the arms and begins to shake him desperately. Beerus. What's happening? Tell me what the hell you've been doing lately. I knew it was a bad idea to train you. You've been getting into trouble, haven't you? You better tell me even the smallest detail of what you've been doing. Because if not, I will destroy you. I will search for the Dragon Balls to revive you and then I will destroy you again. Issei, very confused, began to explain to Beerus the whole situation of the temporal anomalies and how things got a little complicated after they left the underworld dinner. Meanwhile, the girls approached Whis to find out why Mr. Beerus acted. Sona. Whis-san. Why is Mr. Beerus so upset? The Keno. It's a little strange seeing him like this. He almost never loses his sanity. Tsubaki. And it's not like Issei-kun has done anything bad lately. Whis. I figured everyone would ask me the same question. What happens is that Zeno-sama wants to see Issei-san. And I don't think it was because of the time travel that he did with Trunks, since all of that was authorized by Silas-sama and the Supreme Kaya-sama of time. Chisato. Zeno-sama. Are you serious? Kuroka. But. Who is Zeno-sama? I had never heard of him. Chisato. I'll explain. Just as there is a universal hierarchy with respect to the angels and gods of destruction, there is a level that goes further. Not to make it long. Zeno-sama is the one who has power and control over all universes. He may have a very innocent appearance, but you should not trust him just because of that. What I still don't understand is why Zeno-sama wants to see Issei-kun. Whis. I also try to find a specific reason. I want to believe that it is because of the resemblance he has to his grandfather, and I am not referring to the physical appearance, but rather, because of the skills and the way of fighting that he possesses. Perhaps it will be because Issei-san reminds him of Goku. Saint. While Whis and the girls tried to find a reason why Zeno-sama wanted to see the brunette, Issei continued explaining to Beerus about the temporary problem that happened recently. Issei. And that's what happened. Beerus. Are you sure? Issei. Totally. I haven't done anything other than help the Supreme Kaya-sama of time. Beerus. Well. I guess you're not as dumb as your grandfather. The fact is that Zeno-sama wants to see you. And don't ask me why, I don't know either. But I need you to listen to me carefully. Issei. I'm listening to you, Mr. Beerus. You don't have to get upset. Beerus. We are going to a very important meeting. Don't even think about doing something stupid like challenging someone to a fight, and don't try to ask direct questions to Xeno-sama or any of the other gods of destruction, because they are not as flexible as me. Issei. I understand. I understand. Don't get so upset, will you? He says a little worried. Mr. Beerus. Issei-sen is right. You shouldn't be so alarmed. Beerus. Well, in that case. We have to leave now. Well, everyone get together. Girls, you too. There is no problem if you accompany us. They all approached put his hand on his shoulder, and in the blink of an eye they were traveling through space. After a while, they arrived at Beerus's planet, which I miss for the girls and Issei. Issei. We weren't supposed to go to the meeting with Xeno-sama and the other gods of destruction. Well. Turns out the meeting is in about 1 hour. Chisato. Then why did you go with Issei-kun so early? Well, it's all due to Mr. Beerus's nervousness. He thought that things could go wrong and that he wouldn't find Issei-san. That's why he went to look for it in advance. Beerus. You don't need to explain everything. He says a little annoyed. Now we just have to wait. Issei. So. He stands in a fighting pose in front of Beerus. Let's fight a little. You promised, didn't you? Beerus. Well. I think I can make it up to you for putting so much pressure on you when I went to look for you. But. That doesn't mean I'm going to be dismayed. Issei. Don't worry. Ever since I started training with Mr. I always had the hope of fighting with you. Sigh. Every day I see that they look more alike. Just thinking about fighting. Whatever, girls. How about we enjoy delicious snacks while the two of them fight? They all nodded and left the place together with The angel, with his staff, made a table appear, on which he sat down with the girls, beginning to taste with them sandwiches that they had saved from previous times. Meanwhile, Beerus was with his hands behind him waiting for the brunette to make his first move. Issei. Well. Here I go. Suddenly transforms into SSJROs 2. Beerus. Wow. I see you're going all in from the beginning. I see you're not a fool after all. Issei. I would like to ask you please not to hold back. It would be disrespectful to both of us if we hold back and hide our true strength. Beerus. Well. I'm waiting for you. Remember that we don't have much time. Without saying another word, Issei launched himself at great speed towards Beerus, trying to land a direct hit. Beerus just extended his hand, stopping the attack in its tracks. Beerus. Wow. I see your punches are pretty good. But, unfortunately for you, your transformations are simple multipliers of the Super Saiyan God, so unfortunately for you, not enough to reach me. With a simple gust of air, he made Issei shoot backwards. The Saiyan recovered quickly, and without wasting time he launched himself towards Beerus, trying to kick him, however the god of destruction kept him under control. Issei. Big Bang Kamehameha. The attack caused Beerus's planet to vibrate a little. Even though the attack was very powerful, Beerus simply kicked the attack upwards, creating a large explosion in the sky. The god of destruction looked with some amazement at the remains of Issei's attack. At that moment the Saiyan took the opportunity to teleport behind him and try to land a blow. Despite having been close to hitting him, Beerus managed to recover, blocking all the blows that Issei tried to give him, the great speed of both of them making his movements almost imperceptible. From one moment to the next, he kicked Issei in the stomach, causing him to shoot towards the pond on Beerus's planet. Roswis. Issei-kun, she says very worried. Sona. I knew it was a bad idea. She says about to get up to help Issei. Don't worry. Takes a sip of his tea. Even though the attack was very strong, he is fine. He's not out of combat yet. After a few seconds, Issei came out of the water at great speed, landing on the edge of the pond. She could see a little blood on her lips which she cleaned with her hand. You could see a little surprise on Beerus's face. Beerus. I didn't expect you to still be standing after that hit. And good. Do you want to continue? Issei just smiled arrogantly and closed his eyes. From one moment to the next, he opened his eyes suddenly, his pink aura combined with a red color. Issei had combined the Kaioken with the SSJROs too. This gesture bothered Mr. Beerus a little, especially because of the cocky way in which the Saiyan showed himself, so the roles were reversed. Now it was Beerus who launched himself towards Issei. The Saiyan had been favored by the increase in power of the Kaioken, since he managed to block Beerus's attacks, but even so, he did it with many complications. Chisato. That state Issei-kun is in. He must end this quickly, he is wasting too much energy. Besides, we don't know if Mr. Beerus is fighting seriously. Well, he's still playing with it. But, Mr. Beerus should get serious. The worst that could happen would be that Mr. Beerus loses his peace of mind due to an attack by Issei-san. Everyone watched each other's movements attentively until Issei managed to excellently dodge Mr. Beerus's blow. Without hesitation, the Saiyan dealt a good blow to the god of destruction. Issei. I did. Whisper. Beerus. Takes Issei's hand and starts squeezing it. Don't want to be too clever. Beerus hits Issei back, causing him to be completely taken aback, being surpassed in speed and strength. The brunette is losing, taking a beating from Beerus. With enormous force, he was thrown to the ground, so that later the god of destruction ended with a gigantic ball of energy. The attack left a large crater, a screen of smoke and massive destruction of the site. When the smoke cleared, everyone was shocked to see that Issei was gone. Kamehameha finale. The loud roar made Beerus turn towards the sky, and Issei with torn clothes could be seen who had already launched his attack towards him. Beerus extended his arm towards Issei, creating a purple energy sphere, which contained Hakai energy, and threw it, causing it to collide with Issei's final Kamehameha. The sphere completely absorbed Saiyan's attack, causing it to double his strength. Little by little that sphere was approaching Issei, who extended his hands to try to stop it. Issei. DDRAIG, do you think you can absorb the energy of the sphere? Greg. I don't know. I guess so. Issei. That's enough. When you come in contact, start absorbing as much energy as you can. Greg. Are you sure, mate? Issei. Completely, here it comes, get ready. Issei began to try to contain that ball of energy with his hands. The boosted gear appeared, and just as Issei had told him, it began to absorb energy. Greg. Boost 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 boost. Issei. Hey I raising his Kai. Issei transferred the gathered energy into his body, causing his aura to increase in size, as well as his fighting power. Even though he was working, he wouldn't give him enough time to absorb all the energy before the brunette's resistance ran out. Issei. DDRAIG, stop games, absorb it all at once. I will not resist any longer, as that touches me I'm dead. Greg. But companion. Issei. Just do it. Greg. Welsh Dragon Overdrive. Issei began to scream in pain, and in the blink of an eye, the sphere disappeared, so that later a flash of white surrounded the brown one. Sona. What happened? She says, very confused, as well as the rest of the girls. Chisato. Wisan. Are you thinking the same as me? Wis. That's right. It seems that Mr. Beerus accomplished her goal, she says, closing her eyes, expressing satisfaction. Beerus admired with pride and with a smile what Issei had just achieved. The flash disappeared and the brunette could be seen in his base state. When he looked up, a blue aura could be seen, and his eyes were silver. An overwhelming heat was felt in the atmosphere, as well as a colossal pressure. In the blink of an eye, Issei launched himself towards Beerus, in a movement that was too fast that surprised everyone. Issei had passed Mr. Beerus at enormous speed, to which he responded with a smile, turning towards the brunette. To continue the battle again. Chapter 28. The multiversal meeting that will decide the fate of the universe. Everyone except Whis observed Issei's new state. The angel remained calm, observing the actions of her disciple in detail. Beerus looked with great interest, he observed him carefully from head to toe. Beerus. I see that it didn't take you too long to reach that state. The dragon inside you must have helped you. I won't complain about the way you obtained it. The only thing that interests me at the moment. Is that you show me what you know how to do. Issei was still very confused, he looked at his hands and his aura. Upon seeing himself face to face with the god of destruction and hearing his words, he only nodded and closed his eyes and then launched a strong and powerful punch. With enormous speed, Beerus managed to block the blow with his hand without losing any more time. Issei attacked again. Both rose into the air, exchanging attacks at great speed. Meanwhile, Whis was still looking very carefully at the movements of both, especially those of the brunette. There was something that caused him a lot of intrigue. From his look you could tell that there was something a little different from when he saw Goku for the first time in that shape. Just then, a flash of green combined with Issei's aura. It was only for a brief moment. That event caught the angel's attention a lot. But apparently he hadn't been the only one who had noticed that. Chisato. Wisan. You noticed it too, didn't you? Whis. Yes. It's the first time I've seen something like that. Maybe it could be because of the behavior of the dragon inside him. Let's say that in a certain way. It may have an influence as Issei-sen masters the transformation, although it may be a variant of those that his ancestors achieved a while ago. At the moment I don't have a verdict. We will have to watch the rest of this confrontation. Wiss's expression was too serious, there was great interest on his part. It was true that he did not doubt that Issei would achieve Ultra Instinct in such a short time, but there was something different about the brunette. His movements, the intensity and strength of his blows were very different, it was as if they were weaker and slower than his ancestor. Returning to the fight, even though Issei had reached that state, there was a certain inferiority to Mr. Beerus. Beerus caught Issei's fist, even though Issei tried to struggle to free himself, it was useless. Bills. What's happening? Is that all you can do? The brunette did not say a word, he frowned, and that flash of green appeared again, he struggled again, moving his arm a little, making Mr. Beerus's hand retreat. From one moment to the next, the brunette separated and looked directly at his master. Without saying any words, the brunette attacked again, but this time, Beerus could no longer catch his blows. It was as if he somehow became stronger and fast as the fight progressed. Girls. I would like to ask you a specific question. It is regarding Issei-san's abilities in the past, before all this happened. Akeno. Issei-kun only used his boosted gear and his armor. Could one of you be so kind as to describe to me what Issei-san's boosted gear does? Roswis. Well, to be brief, it is based on increasing and enhancing Issei-san's abilities and attacks, and he can also summon very versatile armor. To increase and enhance his attacks, huh? I think I can have a small idea of what that green flash could be. So as not to confuse them. I will just say that Issei-san managed to combine the power of the dragon with ultra instinct. Chisato. Is that possible, Wis-san? Indeed. If you look closely at Issei-san's movements, they become stronger, faster and more precise every time the green flash appears. Although I don't know whether to say with certainty if this will benefit him or not. Master the transformation 100%. Returning to the confrontation, Beerus's superiority was disappearing little by little. He could no longer catch or counterattack the brunette, he was totally on the defensive. The green aura combined with the kai of ultra instinct, Issei's blows were barely visible, and the noises they caused when they hit Beerus resonated throughout the planet. Of the god of destruction. Eventually, Issei managed to land a blow on Mr. Beerus's face, and then gave him a kick that would make him retreat a few meters. The Hakaitian knew perfectly well that it was not time to hold back, he expelled his god of destruction aura and headed towards Issei. Who also had the same idea. They both clashed their fists, causing a large crater to form. The Saiyan began to have a bit of an advantage. His eyes were green and resembled those of a dragon, but his transformation little by little was disappearing. That aura disappeared. He vanished and the brunette began to lose consciousness. Beerus just expressed a small smile and took him by his clothes, throwing him towards where the girls and Whis were. The very worried girls began to heal him, while Whis approached Beerus with a noticeable smile. I don't remember Goku-san or Vegeta-san taking it to that limit in their first confrontation. Beerus. I shouldn't have trusted that boy. It was like he evolved in the middle of the fight. His punches became much stronger and faster with every second. He had never seen anything like that. It seems that Issei-san became the most interesting disciple I have ever had. I could even become his successor, Mr. Beerus. For now. We should focus on the meeting with Zeno-sama, if that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe it was a good idea to train the boy. Issei slowly woke up, despite being recovered thanks to the girl's magic, he felt his body very tired and exhausted. Issei. Begins to see his arms. I'm still very confused about everything that happened. I feel like I've slept for years. You shouldn't worry. With proper training you will be able to understand everything that disturbs you. Now there is no time to waste. We must go with Zeno-sama. The brunette got up and with his teleportation managed to take the girls back home. Once that was done, they were ready to go with Zeno-sama. When Whis was about to call the high priest, the brunette interrupted him. Issei. Before leaving I would like to ask a question. Beerus. What's wrong, boy? We're wasting time. Issei. For an occasion like this. Shouldn't we also go with the Supreme Kaiosama? Beerus. It won't be necessary. The Supreme Kaiosama has nothing to do with the things of higher gods. Ho ho ho, Mr. Beerus. You shouldn't be so hard on the Supreme Kaiosama. After all he is very important to you. Or have you already forgotten that if he dies, you will too? Beerus. Damn no need to give the boy ideas. Ho 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 whatever, Issei-san. Would you be so kind as to go for the Supreme Kaiosama? Issei. No problem. I'll be right back. The brunette used his teleportation, and once with Shin, he explained about the meeting. The Supreme Kaiosama of Universe 7 replied that he had already been notified of a meeting, but had not had enough details about it. He returned to Beerus's planet along with Shin, and once there the four left with Zeno-sama. When they arrived they met the Shinken at the entrance. Issei. Sensei. Is that Zeno-sama over there? No, that's the high priest over there. He is among the 5 most powerful in all the universes. If one day you surpass me, he may become interested in you and he may even train you. Issei. Does he mean it? Although I don't think I'll be able to surpass you. You never know. We'll only find out over time. For now we must focus on the meeting. Beerus. And don't even think about being smart by challenging them or disrespecting them. Your grandfather's childish stupidities almost gave me a heart attack. Issei just nodded and together with everyone they began to walk towards Zeno-sama's palace. The Shinken. Everyone is welcome. It is an honor to welcome you all here. Everyone responded to the greeting and made a small bow. They entered and began to walk down the hallway so they could reach Zeno-sama's throne. There was a deep silence, only each person's footsteps could be heard. Whis. By the way, High Priest. Where are the other gods of destruction? Ishinkan. Well, it's funny that you ask. Zeno-sama has been observing the confrontation between young Issei and Mr. Beerus. And he was so excited that he brought forward the meeting and made the announcement to the other gods of destruction so he could meet with Issei-san as soon as possible. Issei? Huh? Oh really? Wow, I didn't expect that someone like Zeno-sama would have that desire to see me. Whis. You may remind him a lot of Son Goku, after all they were very good friends. They eventually arrived at Zeno-sama. Issei's surprise was very great when he saw that the deity for whom everyone had immense respect and fear were two individuals of short stature and childish appearance. The brunette wanted to be a comment about it, but he remembered Beerus's words. Before Issei could introduce himself, both gods had all levitated towards Issei. Zeno-sama both, Goku, Issei. Goku. But. I'm not Goku. He says a little confused. Zeno present, aren't you Goku? But you look and dress almost the same as him. Zeno future, you also do fun and cool things like Goku. Ishinkan. Zeno-sama. This is Issei, Son Goku's grandson. Zeno-sama both, Issei. Issei they shout with joy. Zeno-sama present, you will be our friend, yes. Zeno-sama future, we'll do fun things, yeah. Zeno's guards watched the brunette's movements attentively, while Issei only blinked in perplexity, since he did not know how to react to the proposals of both Zenos. Issei. Okay, I'll be his friend. I guess. He says with a nervous smile by the way. Do you want to see something cool? Both gods nodded excitedly, at that moment Issei made his boosted gear appear. The moment Drake spoke, the Zenos got closer. Zeno present, the voice that comes out of there is very funny. Zeno future, you're as funny as Goku. Beerus was completely serious, although you could see the occasional bead of sweat on his forehead. He looked at Issei out of the corner of his eye, there was a little silence, until Whis spoke. Whis. High Priest. What was the reason for the meeting? Ishinkan. Sure. I almost forgot. It's a serious topic. And one that I assume both you and Mr. Beerus are aware of. Shin. Maybe. Are you talking about another multiversal tournament? Ishinkan. Exactly, Zeno-sama believes that lately there has been a lot of evil in all universes and believes that the most feasible way to eradicate it is by holding another tournament like the one a few centuries ago. Plus, he's eager to see if he'll surpass the previous one and of course. He wants to see his new friend in action. Beerus. Nervous who? Does that mean that again the universes will have to fight for their lives again? At that moment, Issei turned around while he still had his arm extended with his boosted gear activated. The two Zeno-samas were still amazed at the boosted gear. Ishinkan. Affirmative. Only this time there will be some changes in the regulations. Although the rewards will be the same, I have to say that Zeno-sama wants to feel the excitement from the beginning, therefore, the pitched battle regulations will no longer be used. Shin. That means that the battles will be much more serious and close. Ishinkan. That's the goal. Like in the last tournament, weapons are not allowed and you can't fly either. And although Issei-san has that object that can be taken as a weapon, it is allowed since it is part of him. Issei. That's a relief. Whispered while looking at Whis. At that moment the angel nodded seriously, they both knew that for the brunette to master what he discovered in the fight with Beerus, he needed help from Drake. Ishinkan. Regarding the battles. The 8 participating universes will be divided into 2 groups, from which the finalists will emerge. The confrontations will be 2 against 2 to direct elimination. If you leave the platform or give up, you will be eliminated. The 2 participants must be eliminated for the participating universe to be annihilated. If a combatant is eliminated but his partner manages to reach the next round, the eliminated participant can fight again. Shin. Ishinkan-sama. But couldn't the tournament be held without putting the lives of the other universes at risk? Ishinkan. In fact, that was a question the other universes asked when they were notified about the tournament. Zeno-sama was very strict about that universe that refuses to participate will be eliminated immediately. He said with immense seriousness the tournament will take place in a week. Both Beerus and Shin were very worried, there was nothing more to talk about. Whis. Well. If there's nothing else to talk about, I think we should leave. We must start preparing things for the tournament. Issei said goodbye to Zeno-sama and to Shinkan, and together with the others they teleported back to Beerus's planet. Beerus. Well boy, you are the representative of Universe 7. I will leave the decision of who the other combatant will be in your hands. Do not disappoint me. Remember that we all depend on it. He said with extreme seriousness. Issei. I know perfectly well who he could be, plus he's almost as strong as me. I'll go get eyes, explain everything to her, and hopefully we can start training from today. I'll be right back. The brunette teleported while Beerus lay down on the ground while Whis approached him. Whis. You surprise me with how calmly you are taking this whole situation, Mr. Beerus. I see that you trust Issei-san a lot. Iris. There's something that gives me a good feeling about that boy. I don't know if it's because of the fight a while ago. Or because of the seriousness with which he took Xeno-sama's visit. He is the complete opposite of his grandfather. Whis. If I'm honest, I have the feeling that Issei-san won't have any problems with that tournament. After all. He also has something to protect. Chapter 29. The second tournament of power begins. Battle against Universe 3. Issei teleported to the Arcosian planet in the blink of an eye. He did not have to appear before the soldiers again, since he teleported directly into Issei's palace. Which took the cold demon by surprise, who was admiring the view of the city from his throne. Eyes. Damn Haidu. Next time you could tell me that you're coming to my planet. People around here are still afraid of Saiyans. Issei. Haven't you told him about the tournament last time? We even trained together. Eyes. It has nothing to do with that. I suppose it must have been a problem of our ancestors. But still, it's strange that you're here. Are there any extra training sessions with Wi-sensei? Issei. No. In fact, he is a little more serious. Eyes. Turns to Issei. What do you mean? I should rather ask. What did you do this time? Issei. What do you mean by that? I didn't do anything this time, even I was surprised too. Mr. Beerus came to my house out of nowhere. And took me with Xeno-sama. Eyes. Did you say Xeno-sama? It's even more serious. Don't tell me it's as serious as I think it is. Issei. I suppose you have heard about the multiversal tournament from your father, so I know he also participated there. Eyes. Damn, I knew that one day history would repeat itself. My brother longed to be able to participate in that tournament, but I am glad that he did not have the opportunity. His attitude could have compromised us a lot. I assume that you are already in to participate. Issei. I had no choice. Shinken-sama told me that whoever refused to participate would have his universe disqualified and destroyed immediately. Also, to keep it short, the battles will be 2 against 2, and I need a partner. Eyes. I knew you would say something like that. But I have to reject that. I can't help you on this occasion. I already have enough problems on my planet without having such a big responsibility. I'm sorry. Issei. What are you talking about? It is something that goes beyond our reach. If we do nothing, everything we know will be destroyed. Eyes. Don't you understand? The gods only fulfill their ideas and whims, but when it comes to defending the universe, it is always others who have to solve their stupidities. Sometimes they don't take their work seriously. Just remember about the tournament last time. I don't have to help them. Issei. I don't care what the gods want or not. Afterwards you can complain to Mr. Beerus or something, but if I don't protect what's mine, no one else will. Eyes. Well then look for someone else. I have a planet to tend to. After those words there was only silence. Issei knew perfectly well that his rival was the only one who could accompany him in this, not only because he did not know anyone more powerful, but because he knew him very well, and that way they could design a kind of strategy. Just then, something occurred to him that he had overlooked, something he should have done a long time ago. Issei. Your son. If you participate and we win, I promise that I myself will search for the Dragon Balls to revive him. Eyes turned around immediately and saw him a little confused. No one had ever promised him something like that. The Dragon Balls were always denied to them by the inhabitants of the planets that possessed them, since they still did not trust the Arcosians, even if they helped them, or they were going to ask for it peacefully in exchange for protection or resources. Issei. Don't see it as a promise that the gods make to you. It is a promise that I make to you, so you can have complete confidence in me. Eyes turned back to the city and sighed. Eyes. Okay, I'll participate. But if you don't keep your word, we will invade the land immediately and declare war on the land for life. Issei. Well, in that case you will have to think very carefully before taking the best food in the universe from Mr. Beerus. Having him destroy you. And many other things, but I'm glad you decided to participate. Eyes. You really are a miserable bastard. He says between laughs anyway. Tell Mr. Whis, I won't be able to train today. I need to fix a couple of things on my planet. If I'm going to have to be gone for a long time, I'm going to leave. All in order. Issei. Okay, I'll be waiting for you on Mr. Beerus's planet. He places his fingers on his forehead and teleports. The cold demon walks back to his throne and sits down so he can observe the city. Eyes. Damn Saiyan. Whispers, but I must admit that a multiversal tournament sounds interesting. Besides, I will be able to rule this planet with my son. It is time for the multiverse to know the true power of the Arcosians. The chestnut returned to Beerus's planet, where he told his teachers in full about what he talked about with his rival. Beerus. At least you didn't promise him anything that was out of our hands. I congratulate you for that. Issei. Thanks I guess. He turns to Whis and could we start with the training please? Beerus. Although. He interrupts them. It seems that you haven't taken the matter seriously. Issei. What are you talking about, Mr. Beerus? Beerus? It seems that you only care about becoming stronger and being able to demonstrate it in front of all the universes, but you don't realize the consequences of them. The brunette only looked worried and very intrigued at Mr. Beerus's words. Beerus. If you lose, everything you love will disappear. All the beautiful memories you have with your family will be erased from existence itself. And what do you think is the worst? There's no way to bring them back. What do you think will be the reaction of all the pretty girls you live with when they find out that you couldn't protect them? Issei. Well, I think it's time for him to take his work as the god of destruction seriously instead of trying to threaten me. Beerus. Be careful with the tone you use. If you end up insolent to me, I'll have to. Issei. Destroy me? In that case, do it once and for all, but tell the high priest not to participate in the tournament. The atmosphere was too tense, it seemed Issei would not be intimidated by a god of destruction. Wiz silently watched the behavior of these two, his only reaction was a sigh. The angel raised his arm, summoning his staff and striking both of them on the head. Wiz. Enough. I'm surprised that both of them are so immature to fight in a crucial situation like this. Issei-san, start warming up and stretching right now, we'll start training right away. Issei didn't say another word and prepared to do what his teacher had told him. After a few minutes, Wiz began a very simple training session. A one-on-one matchup to improve the speed of his disciple. However, Issei was too distracted, mainly by the words he had exchanged with Mr. Beerus earlier. He was mortified thinking about what could happen to him or if he was not prepared enough for what was coming. The Saiyan's inconsideration was so great that Wiz sent him to the ground with a single touch. Wiz. What's wrong, Issei-san? You are more distracted than normal. If you are not focused I can't train you. Issei. I'm sorry. Wiz-sensei. But it's still very difficult for me to assimilate the situation. Little by little he gets up from the ground. Wiz. It would be best if you returned home. Rest and relax a little. Only in this way can we obtain the best results. Issei. Nods. Okay. The brunette teleported back home. Wiz approached Beerus in a serious manner. Wiz. Could you explain to me what caused such aggressive behavior towards Issei-san? Beerus. I think if you know me well, Wiz. You know that I don't allow such disrespect. Wiz. What does he mean? Beerus. I was pushing him to see the importance of things if he had been serious. Wiz. Right now we would be looking for another participant. I had to stop myself from destroying that brat. My only intention is for him to take it seriously so he can get the best results during training. Wiz. Well, thanks to that, his disciple will have one less day of training. Although I don't think Issei-san will sit idly by after that. Beerus. Let's hope not. Really, if he doesn't train enough, I don't think we'll be as lucky as last time. The brunette got home thanks to teleportation. Without waiting to rest, he ran around the house looking for 21 until he finally found her in the kitchen. He was so distracted that he didn't even remember that he could find her with Kai. Issei. 21-san, could you give me the capsule with the gravity chamber? A21. It's in my room, in the capsule compartment. But first tell me how it went with Mr. Beerus and with WH. The android was surprised to see that the brunette didn't waste a second in running to her room. She was a little intrigued by the fact that he was more hurried than normal. Issei managed to find the capsule inside 21's room and without thinking about it any longer, he went down to the patio and threw the capsule, making the anti-gravity capsule that he had used with 21 a few days ago appear. The chestnut began to train so hard that the noise began to be heard all the way to the house. The girls were a little confused, even though they admired the way he took his training, they couldn't help but worry about him. They all decided to meet in the patio, in front of the capsule. From time to time they could feel slight tremors. Unexpectedly, the capsule exploded, revealing Issei in the middle of a cloud of smoke, even with his Kai aura surrounding him. A21. Trembling when he sees his destroyed capsule. My. Gravity capsule. Issei. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I promise I'll make it up to you in some way. Now I must go to Dend. Placing her fingers on his forehead. Roswis. Wait a second, you didn't even greet us when you returned. Sona. It's true. We also want to know how that important meeting went for you. Issei was still quite worried about Beerus's words. Just remembering them made him believe that he was not yet fully prepared for the tournament, that his power would not be enough to protect the universe from him and everything he loved from them. Issei. Oh. Don't worry. It's just an exhibition tournament. Just like last time. The only difference is that now it will be with more universes. That's all. And obviously I don't want to be left behind. I'll just train a little more than normal. Now yes. See you at dinner time. Bye. Teleports. The girls were not completely convinced. They looked at each other completely strange. Chisato. It's completely obvious that something is wrong. I've never seen him so nervous as this time. Not even the time of the ritual. Bakeno. I think we have no choice but to trust him. Issei arrived at Kamisama's temple. She hurriedly asked if she could use the time room and began training. Without letting a second pass, she suddenly transformed into her SSJRO's 2 pass. She began to focus on maintaining that transformation for as long as possible. The brunette thought that the best way to win battles was to use his maximum power from the beginning. Even so, it only took a few minutes for it to fall to the ground due to the excess energy and wear and tear that this transformation caused. He was so worried that he didn't even know how to manage his Kai well to be able to control the transformation for longer. He was still on the ground, panting, thinking about looking for some kind of solution in case what was present when he fought against Beerus. Dreg. Looks like you're too distracted, mate. Issei. Damn Dreg. Sometimes I forget that you are listening to absolutely everything that happens to me. Dreg. We've both been through a lot. It would be nice if you told someone other than one of the girls about your problems. Besides, there's something I have to tell you. Issei. What's happening? Dreg. It was during your training with the god of destruction. Since you absorbed that large amount of energy. I felt different. I felt like a large amount of energy overwhelmed me to the point that I managed to have a little of control over all your power, unlike before where you could only enhance all your attacks. For a moment I was totally bewildered, but then I managed to get used to it. I could increase your power to unimaginable levels. Issei. So that's what I needed. With this I can. Dreg. It's not as simple as you think. I'm afraid I only have that kind of control when you're in that state your master called Ultra Instinct. I suppose that it is a state that affects both of us, that is, if you break your limits with that state, the magnitude is such that I am also affected, making it possible to multiply your power completely in an unlimited way. Even so, we do not know. What is the true limit and resistance that your body has? Issei. I can barely keep Rose stable. Now we are conditioned by 2 things. I have to manage to control my transformations. And also how to reach Ultra Instinct voluntarily. Little by little the brunette managed to stand up, a little sore. He sighed a little and turned around in the direction of the temple door, knowing that it was not good if it made his body and mind get excessively tired before he could train fully with Whis. He walked out of the time room and left the Kamisama temple. With the little energy he had left he managed to return home using teleportation. Fortunately, the girls were calmer and welcomed him with a smile. Issei was very surprised to see that none of them asked about the meeting he attended. However, he believed that it would be best not to say anything about the seriousness of the multiversal tournament. He did not want to terrify them by telling them the consequences of defeat in the tournament. For the moment, he just preferred to enjoy the company of his girls more, just in case it was the last week he saw them. The next day, Issei woke up very early, much earlier than normal. He put on his suit and before teleporting, he turned around to see the girls sleeping tenderly in bed. He smiled and, in an act of affection, he kissed each of the girls as a sign of goodbye. Once satisfied with that, he managed to reach Beerus's planet. When he arrived, the first thing he saw was Whis, calmly drinking tea. Whis. Good morning, Issei-san. What a surprise to see you so early. Issei. Good morning Whis-sensei. After yesterday, I was really looking forward to training. Whis. I knew you'd feel that way. I hope you haven't overexerted yourself training on your own. Today's training will be too heavy. Laughs a little. Issei. Don't worry. Rest enough to be able to take the training with the greatest energy. Although we still have to wait for Eyes. Whis. I think he should be ready by now. I guess you'll have to go after him with your teleportation. Issei. He's right, but still, there's something I want to ask you. Whis. Is it about Ultra Instinct? It is not like this. Issei just nodded his head, amazed at the teacher's deduction from him. Whis. It's a very important thing, but it's something you have to discover yourself. Maybe your friend the dragon can help you with that, but you shouldn't worry about it. Compared to Goku-san, you managed to get it much sooner. As your teacher, I congratulate you. Now, go get Eyes-san, the training will start soon. The brunette teleported to Eyes' planet. And he brought him to Beerus's planet for training. They both saw that Whis wasn't kidding about the intensity of the training. It was completely different from the previous sessions. Despite being shorter, they were much heavier and made them both exhausted, and it didn't let them use their transformations either. Issei needed to relax after training, and he did that thanks to the girls. He enjoyed his time with them much more and did many more things with them all, especially in his room before going to sleep. The brunette used the rose transformation at home, and with the help of Chisato and Akeno's magic, they managed to maintain it for much longer. And so, it was a routine that was carried out all week. A week later. On the day of the tournament. It was a day like any other. Issei woke up and was surprised that the girls had already woken up. He got out of bed, and when he went downstairs, he found a large and delicious banquet for breakfast, as well as all the girls waiting for their boy to eat. Roswis. You won't be able to win the tournament on an empty stomach. Akeno. So we're going a little ahead so you can start your day in the best way. Issei smiled and hugged all the girls and then began to eat in the company of the girls. Everyone laughed and ate in the most pleasant way possible. They enjoyed the morning to the fullest. A couple of hours later, Whis and Beerus arrived at Issei's house. The brunette was surprised to see that Eyes was already accompanying them along with Shin. The angel told Issei that the girls could also attend just like the last tournament, however, without prior notice Issei teleported so he could bring his friend Kiba so that he could also accompany them. Issei checked that he had enough hermit seeds. Once everyone was ready, Whis told the high priest so they could be teleported to the tournament site. Issei, Whis, Beerus, Eyes, Shin, Kiba and the girls were teleported to a rather strange place. It had the peculiarity that it was an infinite room, small sparkles could be seen around it. It only took a few seconds for Deshinken to appear in the middle of the room. Deshinken. Welcome everyone to the second tournament of power. It is an honor for me, the great priest, that all the universes are present. You will wonder where the other universes are, and all the universes with their participants are here, inside the infinite room, even though they can only see me. In this way we avoid any type of provocation on the part of the participants when the rules are explained. Issei and the girls looked around and back in confusion, realizing that Deshinken wasn't joking. Both Eyes and the brunette noticed the different energies and kai of several of the adversaries. In particular, some that seemed familiar to them and corresponded to the participants of Universe 6. Deshinken. As you know, this tournament is held with the objective of balancing the existence of life in the universes, as well as to please Xeno-sama. I suppose you are already warned of the importance of this and the consequences of defeat, which is the destruction of the losing universe of each battle. At that moment Issei, who was in front of everyone, was too afraid to turn to the girls since he had lied to them about it being just an exhibition tournament. The young man turned his head a little trying to see the girl's reaction out of the corner of his eye. Chisato. You don't have to hide anything. I already knew it from the beginning. Sona. Still, we contacted Whis-san when you went to the time room. A21. The same day you destroyed my anti-gravity capsule. She says a little annoyed. Roswis. But. We must accept that it was very nice of you not to tell us anything so as not to scare us. At that moment the girls came up to hug him, to Issei's surprise, none of them were upset. Akeno. We weren't worried because we trusted you. Even if you don't win, we will know that you did everything you could to protect us. Deshinken. Now I will proceed to explain the rules. The tournament will be held in 2 against 2 combats. The 2 universes in combat will have to fight with all their strength until the rival surrenders or is removed from the platform. The rules include the prohibition of flight and assassination. If they fail to comply with the latter they will be disqualified and their universe will be eliminated immediately. It should be noted that the participants will be able to recover between fights, in this way they will be able to participate in the best way in the next one. As for the participants, we will use the same parameter as the last tournament to exclude 4 universes. Eyes. Damn. Then why the hell didn't they say from the beginning who were not going to participate? Whis. Jojoho, that's a very good question. I think Xeno-sama wanted to put a little fear into all the universes as such. So they could do a better job of maintaining the balance of the corresponding universe. Something like the fantastic work that the god of the destruction of Universe 7 does, isn't it, Mr. Beerus? Beerus. Damn Whis. You always have a bad habit of talking too much. Annoying. Deshinken. Taking into account the level of mortal development of all universes. There have been important changes in the ranking of the universes since the last time they faced each other. On behalf of Xeno-sama, I would like to congratulate Universe 9 because after being the last for millennia, it managed to reach first place, followed by Universe 2 and Universe 10. I suppose the latter reconsidered after the problem with the apprentice of Kaioshin from that universe. And finally, the last excluded universe is Universe 8, which has remained since the last tournament of the Force. We will carry out the tournament among the 8 non-excluded universes. They will be divided into 2 blocks of 4 universes from which a finalist will emerge. The first block is made up of Universe 7, Universe 8, Universe 1 and Universe 3. Consequently, the second block will have Universe 11, Universe 4, Universe 6 and Universe 5. That would be all. We will give you a few minutes so that you can prepare for battles. Do so with complete confidence. Despite being in the same place, the other universes cannot hear you. The great priest disappeared, leaving each universe in a dead silence so they could prepare. Beerus. Very good, in a few minutes the tournament of power will begin. We still don't know who they will fight first. I just have to say one thing. It will depend on you if everything you know and love continues to exist after this, even though your ancestors had their problems. It is time for both of you to unite and raise the name of Universe 7. I wish you luck. Whis. Boys, do your best. As your teacher, I have to say that I am very proud of you. I know you will be able to get ahead. Don't forget everything we did during the week. Issei. Thank you very much. Whis-sensei. At that moment, the girls surrounded him again, hugging him. which he also reciprocated. Between so many hugs and some kisses, the brunette began to emanate a flash of light, just like his companion, the Arcosian, which indicated that they were being teleported to the battlefield. A21. Destroy them. Akeno. You can do it, Issei-kun. Issei just nodded, accompanied by a smile. At that moment, Beerus turned to him. Beerus. Boy. Giving him a serious look. You already know what to do. Issei knew at that moment that Beerus was telling him something. The brunette knew perfectly well what it was about. It was something only both of them knew about. Finally, Issei and Eyes were teleported towards the combat arena. Very similar to the arena where they had fought with Universe 6, only this time it was a little bigger. You could see the places for spectators all around. Right away he saw how the girls were teleported, along with Kiba, Whis, Shin and Beerus. Issei raised his hand a little, greeting them. Eyes. It seems we are the first fight. Our adversaries are not even there yet. Issei. You're right. We can't even know who we are going to fight from the beginning. At that moment, those from the adversary universe were also teleported as well as their audience. Eyes. It's a very strange universe. I didn't know what things were like outside of ours. From what I see, the god of destruction looks like some kind of robot. Issei. I think our adversaries will be of the same style. He had heard something similar. Suddenly, the two adversaries of the universe in question appeared. Eyes. Looks like we weren't so wrong. That means we're going to fight with a lot of junk. Issei. To tell the truth, I can't tell you if they are robots or armor. I can't sense their energy levels. So I'd lean towards the former. The Shinken was present in the middle of everything. As well as the two Xeno-sama along with his bodyguard. The Shinken. Welcome, participating universes, to the first match of the Tournament of Power. Universe 3 will face Universe 7. Eyes. Well, any ideas? Issei. I will use all my strength from the beginning. I don't know about you, but I will just tell you not to get in my way. With a challenging smile. Eyes. Ha. Laughs a little. I say the same. The Shinken. Now, knowing the rules. Let's fight. Chapter 30. Deadly Technology. The Secret of the Universe 3. Finally the fight began, and without wasting time. Issei relaxed and immediately transformed to use all of his power. Issei. Hey Aya raises her Kai to the maximum and transforms into SSJROs 2. The floor of the battle arena cracked. A shock wave lifted up much of the debris that had been left, and a light gust of air reached Mr. Beerus and the girls. Immediately, the boy attacked one of the two robots, precisely the red one. This surprised everyone, even Shinken, who only laughed lightly when he saw Issei's initial impetus. Meanwhile, the cold demon growled a little when he saw the way in which Issei had started in such a direct way and without thinking about a strategy to carry out the fight. Eyes. You're arrogant and exhibitionist. She concentrated to be able to change into his golden form. The Arcosian also went after the other warrior from Universe 3. Meanwhile, the girls and Kiba seemed very interested in the warriors from the other universe. Kiba. It is impressive to meet the inhabitants of other universes. It is a shame that I can meet them under these circumstances. Tsubaki. You're right. Not even in the underworld are beings like this seen. It is impressive how many secrets the multiverses have. Whis. I see that you are very interested in knowing more about the other universes. I can help you with that. The angel hit the bottom of his staff on the ground, causing the sphere at the tip to light up, showing a kind of greenish hologram. Showing the profile of both of the participants of the adversary universe. Whis. Let's see what we have here. It seems that Universe 3 has advanced quite a bit technologically since the last Tournament of Power. Maybe it was because they wanted to have better opportunities in case this happened again. They mainly focused on developing a type of technology that would allow them to eradicate any type of threat. The names in question are Red Death and White Echo. These were the final models of certain prototypes. As a result of several years of research, they took advantage of the tranquility of their universe to concentrate on research and thus become the most technologically advanced and developed universe of all the universes. Sona. It seems that all the creativity was left in the manufacture of these two beings. Their names are too basic, I mean they only based on the colors to make them. Adjusts his glasses, but still, it worries me a little bit that they can actually do. Whis. The impact was so great that now there is more presence of machines than living beings in its population. The information ends there. We have no way to help Issei-san or Ai-san, since we know the abilities of their opponents. Roswis. There's something I don't understand. If it is assumed that the criterion for choosing the participants of this tournament is the Mortal Development Index, why was this universe involved if it is one of the most developed? Whis. That's a very good question, but it's easy to answer. When talking about the mortal development rate of a universe, the number of fatalities that occur in it is also taken into account. Let's just say that when Universe 3 began to focus on experiments, they did not come out very well when messing with certain things they didn't know. Thanks to that, many inhabitants died. Even knowledge has a price. Chisato. It seems that the accursed of knowledge are not only among humans. It is as if they have also spread even in many other universes. It seems like a kind of disease without a cure. A21. It is a shame that this universe has had to have so many casualties in exchange for technology. I am very curious to know if the death of all those people was worth it. Once the doubt was clarified, everyone focused on seeing how their participants were doing in the fight. At first glance, you could see that Universe 7 was at an advantage. Issei was so confident that despite being in his most powerful transformation, he attacked in a somewhat slow and predictable way, as if he were playing with his opponent. Red Death was managing to block each of Issei's blows, which I miss everyone. As if it were an abysmal difference, Issei managed to land a blow on the robot's head and then began to hit all the blows at high speed without giving it a chance to react. The sound that the Saiyan's fists and kicks made in Red Death's kind of metal were quite scandalous. You could notice the power of these blows. To finish, Issei threw a strong punch, sending his opponent away. Immediately, Issei jumped back and raised his hand a little, then grabbed it with his other hand and complained of pain. Issei. Damn. What the hell is that thing made of? Not even my armor is that strong and tough. He said, resisting a little, holding his fist while he saw how Red Death barely got up from the rubble. On the other hand, the cold demon remained well above White Echo. Eyes had hit all his blows, and to finish his attack, he charged a ball of energy and threw it at point-blank range against his opponent, causing White Echo to be thrown in the middle of a big explosion. Eyes immediately raised his hand and with his index finger began to launch energy arrays, recreating that attack so characteristic of his father. Amidst so much smoke, Eyes stepped back a little to see how his partner was doing. Eyes. You don't seem to be taking this seriously. You haven't even dented that piece of junk a bit. Issei. Well, it's not my fault that thing is made of obsidian or something like that. It is too resistant, my fists are marked, and the sensation is more annoying than painful. It looks like I only made a few scratches. Besides, this rule about not being able to kill your opponent is garbage. Eyes. You're a crybaby. You should take it more seriously, just like I am doing. At that moment, the smoke screen dissipated, giving a clearer view of the damage that the white robot had suffered. A confident smile appeared on Eyes' face, seeing how White Echo, he was completely destroyed, releasing sparks of energy, with his arms incomplete and his legs completely destroyed. Eyes. See. I told you. He said, crossing his arms, watching that. Issei. You're pretentious. Immediately, White Echo was enveloped in some kind of unknown material, as if they were small bodies that covered his entire exoskeleton. In a blink of an eye, he regenerated completely, recovering his limbs and being as good as new. Issei. Did you say? He said mockingly. Eyes. Just shut up and fight. He said, launching himself again towards White Echo. Issei. It seems like someone is upset. Whatever. I have to destroy that thing before my hands break. The Saiyan returned to the charge to be able to attack Red Death with much more intensity. Meanwhile, Universe 7 was quite surprised by what had just happened. Iris. I'm starting to get desperate with those two. How can it be possible that in their most powerful transformations they cannot beat a piece of scrap? Whis. Jojoho, calm down, Mr. Beerus. I think those two are overwhelmed by the fact that they have to restrain themselves from killing their opponents. A21. Still. I don't think it's just because of that. The material they worked with to make those two really caught my attention. Shin. I think I can help give you an idea about that. At that moment, Shin made a fairly small black cube appear, which he levitated over his hand. The Supreme Kaiosama lowered his hand slightly so that the others could appreciate what he was about to show them. Shin. This is Kachin steel, the most resistant material in Universe 7 and the second most resistant of all the universes. I would not be surprised to see that Universe 3 has made similar discoveries. It is curious that no one in our universe has yet taken advantage of this precious material. Even so, the internal material that White Echo used to regenerate is quite similar. At that moment, a light laugh was heard from the other side of the stands where the personalities of Universe 3 were. Wow. It seems that those from Universe 3 have discovered us. They are not so naive after all. He said while adjusting his glasses. The Kachin of Universe 3 said in a rather arrogant and belittling tone towards Universe 3. The Keno. Whis-san. What are you talking about? Whis. I have no idea. A rather strange sound made everyone turn towards the spectators of Universe 3, which most of the boys and the others related to a kind of Morse code. It was Moscow, the destroyer god of Universe 3, who had the robotic appearance so characteristic of him. Moscow. Beat 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 beat. Those of Universe 7 were completely confused, looking at each other, searching for an answer to the way in which the deity of U3 communicated. A21. Whis-san. What the hell did he just say? Whis. Well, unfortunately for you. I don't have the slightest idea what that means either. It was at that moment when the angel of U3, Camperi, appeared on the scene, fully translating what the god of destruction wanted to say. Camperi. Moscow-sama says. I see that our adversaries from Universe 7 are very interested in our participants, after all they have a lot to do with our development. This sentence made Whis, Beerus, Chisato and Shin turn around completely bewildered at such a revelation. They did not understand how Universe 7 could be related to Universe 3. Chisato. This gives me a very bad feeling. Whis-san. Do you have knowledge about that? Whis. Not at all. The only universe we have had contact with since the last tournament of power was Universe 6. I have not been aware of any visits from Universe 3. It is quite strange. As you order, Moscow-sama. You see. Adjusts his glasses. Since the last power tournament, Universe 3 set out to find a way to increase security and look for an effective way to eradicate possible threats that could exist in the future. They even considered the possibility that another tournament of power would take place. The most brilliant minds in our universe focused on creating new warriors using different methods and procedures, most of which were too complicated even for the most experts. As a consequence, we failed miserably, and more than 40% of our population was eradicated by this. It was a hard blow, but still, thanks to that, I came up with a brilliant idea of looking for the perfect material for our inventions. And it is a material that was outside our territory. Shin. Don't tell me that it's Kachin steel. He said, getting ahead of Edam. That's why it was noticeable how the material was increasingly scarce, even though there were no records of the use of this. Exactly. The brilliant idea of investigating and taking the tournament-winning universe of power as a basis was key to our success. Thanks to hard work, we managed to find this precious material. We managed to find it and thus exploit it for all these centuries without being detected by Universe 7, creating different artifacts for our development and optimizing our warriors until they became the most powerful. I have to confess that at first we tried to use the Kachin steel, which was the one used for the arena of the first tournament of power, and although we managed to obtain a good amount, we noticed that it was very unstable. Even Moscow-sama he offered himself as a test subject for this, however, this had negative results for him, so he has not been able to abandon his suit since then. They've basically been robbing Universe 7 and profiting massively from it. I guess it'll be pretty funny if we end up being eliminated because of a material originating from our universe, but this will all be thanks to the great work of Mr. Whis as god of destruction Jojoho. Beerus. Sometimes I think you hate me, Whis. He said with a frown. Let's just hope that those two would stop playing and finish this once and for all. A21. Even so. For the time of investigation and the number of casualties that had its discovery, it was quite mediocre. He said in a confident tone as he turned towards Universe 3 in a serious manner. At this comment, the Kaishin of Universe 3 was surprised and quite offended. He even changed his arrogant expression at such a comment. What do you mean by that? I asked, annoyed. A21. Although they managed to make progress by stealing material from another universe, that does not take away from the fact that it is not the most resistant of all. Besides, the Saiyans in one of their most primitive forms used to destroy entire planets where this material was. What do you mean? A21. Not to make it long. According to my calculations, there is 1000% chance that they will be destroyed. Beerus. Exactly, I like the way you think, girl. None of those tricks will make us lose this confrontation. Crosses his arms now. You. Turns to E, remains silent and observe the combat. The look that the god of destruction of U7 gave to the Kaishin of U3 was practically murderous. It was clear that Beerus was irritated by the arrogant way that the being of U3 spoke, and even more so adding Whis' comments. Meanwhile in the combat arena, Eyes managed to give all of his attacks, both physical and energy attacks. However, White Echo's regenerative power was increasingly superior. On the other hand, Issei increasingly showed himself in a more even fight. For some reason, Red Death became faster and faster, blocking the Saiyan's attacks much more easily. Issei, a little confused by this, tried to figure out what Red Death's special ability was. In a moment of confusion, the U3 man managed to get into a perfect position to carry out his attack. The Saiyan managed to react in time, placing both arms in front of him to protect himself. However, he was thrown backwards, managing to stay upright thanks to the strength of his legs. The Arcosian, upon seeing this, also backed away from planning a strategy, since once again, his opponent managed to regenerate from his attacks. Eyes. This is getting more and more annoying. He said, looking at Issei's marks. You will end up bleeding out before you can make any scratches. Issei. It doesn't matter if I break my hands. But I assure you that I will tear that piece of junk to shreds. Besides, I think I managed to hurt it now, even dented a little. But despite being able to recover our energy, we don't have unlimited energy like them. Eyes. What do you suggest we do? Issei. We must both attack the same enemy. I think it would be best to get rid of the one that regenerates first, it will be a pain in the butt to have to deal with individually. Eyes. The only problem is that I don't think the other one is programmed to tolerate a 2v1 against his partner, basically, we have no room to move. Issei. Don't worry, I know how to give us some time. He says, closing his eyes. The boy returned to his base state, to the surprise of everyone in the tournament. It relaxed his body, and he took a deep breath. The ground cracked at the same time he transformed into SSJ God. Issei. Well. Prepare yourself. I don't know how long I can keep him still. Issei immediately launched himself towards Red Death, stopping right in front of him. Placing his hands in front of it and trapping it in a Kai barrier, just like he did with A21 when she was possessed by Mira. The aura of the Super Saiyan God completely surrounded the robot, leaving it completely immobile, even though it tried to free itself. This was seen as an excellent strategy by the U7 spectators. Immediately, Issei suddenly increased his Kai, abandoning his current transformation and switching back to SSJRO's 2. Seeing this, Eyes also increased his power, and in this way, the two rushed towards White Echo to try to weaken it. I like to see that the two of them plan to work as a team to carry out this fight. I think that if they continue like this, they will be able to carry out this fight. Iris. But you have to hurry, although it was a clever move, we don't know how long that thing will be trapped in the energy barrier. Sona. They must be fast enough to prevent him from regenerating, if they fail, they will end up much more tired and it will be a much bigger problem, considering that their opponents have unlimited energy. Roswis. The only thing we can do is continue to trust them. Everyone was completely interested in the combat. Even if they were worried, there was a calm atmosphere on the part of U7, except for one person. 21 seemed a little uncomfortable. Meanwhile, U7's plan seemed to work. White Echo had absolutely nothing to do against the attacks and speed of Issei and Eyes. The Saiyan used his Kai sword to cut off one of the robot's arms, before it could regenerate. Eyes launched an attack towards the same area, injuring it even more and making his regeneration more complicated. They both stepped back and decided to use their energy attacks to finish off White Echo and gain the advantage. Eyes raised his finger and charged an orange energy ball, that attack that was so characteristic of his father. Meanwhile, Issei played it safe and began charging a Big Bang Kamehameha with the help of Drag, making the attack much more powerful. White Echo was lost, he had no choice but to receive the combined attack squarely or be thrown off the platform by its power. A look of relief appeared on the spectators of Universe 7, except for Whis and 21. As expected, White Echo received the attack squarely, creating a large explosion, as well as a large screen of smoke. Taking advantage of the little visibility that remained and that Red Death was still trapped in the Kai barrier. Issei launched himself at the robot and punched it hard, causing it to fly into the air and the smoke to dissipate a little. He did the latter in the hope of being able to take advantage of that moment of zero vision to be able to throw him off the platform. Finally, the smoke disappeared completely, revealing a large amount of debris. Red Death had barely managed to stay on the platform. Issei seeing this. She got a little angry because of how annoying he was. Issei. Damn. If it wasn't because he's a robot, he probably wouldn't have had the ability to stay on the platform. At least now we'll only have to worry about one. Eyes. I think we have a little problem with that. There were no traces of White Echo. More than just remnants of cables and parts scattered all over the place. The concern on everyone's face in the U7 was immediate. Moscow. Beep 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 beep. Amperi. Moscow Samus says. U7 must be disqualified, they completely destroyed White Echo. Ha 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 ha, it was to be expected from a universe as unintellectual as this one. To carry out such desperate actions in these important moments. Whis. Oh wow. I think they both got too excited about the fight. Immediately after this the fight stopped, with Deshinken as intermediary. The girls were completely confused, Beerus was furious, he couldn't believe that his universe was going to be eliminated for such a silly and ridiculous reason like that. Kiba was confused. Absolutely everyone in the U7 was worried about what would happen if they were eliminated in the first round, except for 21, who remained silent, very focused on what was happening. Deshinken. It seems that the U7 broke one of the main rules of the tournament. A thorough review will proceed, and if it is proven that they did indeed murder the White Echo participant, they will be disqualified and eliminated immediately. Issei and Eyes remained motionless, while Deshinken saw the remains of White Echo from above. It only took a few seconds for the Great Priest to give his verdict. Deshinken. After an exhaustive review, there seemed to be no traces of life on the part of the participant White Echo, so Universe 7 is officially disqualified from the tournament and therefore will be eliminated immediately. A21. Its core, he shouted with all his might, interrupting Deshinken. Deshinken. What do you mean, 21-san? A21. Due to its composition, it does not matter that its body has been destroyed, as long as its energy core is still functioning, the robot will maintain its memories and can be considered still alive. The high priest looked at 21 with great confusion. Whis smiled slightly and turned to his father. Whis. High priest, could you check once more for his core? The Shinken kindly agreed to check once more, this time going all the way down to the sand and checking every detail. Until after a few minutes, in the middle of some rubble, there was a small cylinder with a blinking blue light, with traces of black metal, that belonged to the Kachin steel that was in the composition of Whiteco. The Shinken. Firstly, I want to apologize to Universe 7, it seems that so much time disconnected from the daily life of the universes made it give a false verdict regarding the current situation. The core of Whiteco is still intact, so Universe 7 you can continue participating. The U7 spectators breathed a sigh of relief, at least now they had one more chance to survive. Whis. 21, San. I congratulate you for being so observant, there is no doubt that Issei-san is lucky to have you on his side, I think he will have that in mind throughout the tournament, after all, he is here precisely for that. The girls blushed at this, Whis' words filled them with confidence, and now they had much more confidence that Issei would protect them despite everything. The Saiyan turned to where the android was, giving her a smile and raising her hand to show her gratitude with a thumbs up, to which the android responded in the same way. Meanwhile, U3 was completely furious, they could not believe that someone had managed to ruin their plan, and above all, they could not believe that Whiteco, a marvel of the exploitation and research of Kachin steel stolen from U7, had been destroyed despite having quite advantageous abilities over the U7. Iris. It was very good that you realized all the details. Addressing 21 noticed that you were always attentive, observing in silence, that is worthy of admiration. But, I still notice that you are uncomfortable about something. Everyone was surprised at Beerus's words, Whis smiled slightly, since it was quite unusual to see him act so seriously, and even more so realizing what he was saying about the brunette. A21. Adjusts his glasses, directing his gaze towards Red Death. Well, I think I am intrigued by the fact of knowing what Red Death will do, it will be interesting to see how his artificial intelligence adapts to critical moments like this. The Shinken. Now I will proceed to resume the fight. He said as he returned to his previous position and raised his arm. Let's fight. Red Death stood still, trying to analyze his situation, while Eyes and Issei sighed in relief as they escaped being eliminated in such a surreal way. Issei. That was close. I think we got really excited. Eyes. I'm glad he didn't disappear with such humiliation. Now it will be less complicated to carry out this fight. Issei. Any ideas? I asked looking at the remains of Whiteco. Eyes. I think we should first get rid of that pile of garbage over there. Referring to the remains, at least throw it off the platform. After so many surprises we shouldn't risk so much. Issei. Then go and throw it yourself. He said, crossing his arms, joking a little. Eyes. You're a damn lazy person. He said, walking towards the pile of rubble. The Arcosian took with his hand the small metal cylinder whose light blinked slowly. He prepared to throw it carefully against the platform, he didn't want to run into any surprises. And so he did it, everyone watched attentively as the core of Whiteco was blown up. To everyone's astonishment, Red Death stretched out his arm to where the core was, and almost to the limit he managed to take what was left of his companion. Eyes. Damn piece of scrap. He said, approaching him so he could attack him. The area where Red Death was cracked, as if it was clinging to the ground to resist the attack. A red dome began to surround the robot, making it impossible for Eyes to get close. For his part, Issei launched a powerful energy attack that was practically absorbed by the force field. Just as Issei's attack, Red Death absorbed the core of Issei's partner. The remains of Whiteco's metal parts began to move in the direction of the Red Death's dome. Immediately, 21 realized what was happening. A21. Don't let the remains come to him, he said, leaning a little. Issei immediately turned around, launching a flurry of Kai attacks, trying to destroy the remaining parts of Whiteco, and while he managed to hit most of the remains, it was too late. The parts pierced the force field and it began to glow from the inside, making it completely see-through. There was a great flash. Out of caution, Eyes retreated back to Issei's side. When finally, the force field and the flash disappeared, a new Red Death appeared completely different from the one that started the fight. The rubble had disappeared and now the two robots were one, combining their abilities and letting Red Death's artificial intelligence take care of everything. Issei. Very well done. You just had to throw it away from the platform. He said ironically. Eyes. Shut your mouth, it's not my fault these guys are so stubborn. The Saiyan raised his Kai, reaching almost his maximum power. He thought about using the Kaioken with the SSJ2 Rose, no matter how risky it was, but for the moment he wouldn't risk that much. First he wanted to see what the new Whiteco was capable of. Issei. Let's end this now. Otherwise I'll burn it to ashes on purpose. Issei's face was now much more serious and imposing. You could tell he was completely upset and determined to stop giving them even another chance to continue the fight. Eyes did the same, and without saying another word they both launched themselves without any fear and without any intention of holding back, ready to end the fight once and for all. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.